Australian kid.
Yeah.
Sounds like a mini Jason Ellis.
Yeah, right?
And I really enjoyed that, man, because, I mean, I've known Joey since he's a kid, you know.
Really?
I respect him, dude. I think he's rad. Him and I had a rad talk just the other night at the bike night, and, you know.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we're both, you know, I don't talk to him for months, more than months at a time, you know. And you can tell he's getting older and wiser. And,
For sure, he's growing up a
Yeah,
lot.
we've had we had knucklehead Joey, and now we're getting mature Joey.
Yeah.
And me and him used to butt heads, and now we're like thick as thieves.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're live, boys.
Oh, shit.
Oh, wow.
This is the show.
Okay. I know we can't really, because of YouTube, we can't, play the song that we
Our
normally
intro.
do. Yeah.
We have a song. It's a Smashing Pumpkins cover, but it was done by the Van Vanna, and it's a lot heavier. But it's not worth risking the fucking copyright infringement.
Dustin,
So
bring this,
and
the elbow.
Closer on the mics.
Yeah,
yep,
close on
you
the
can you can move that thing as much as you need. You know how it goes.
How's that there, buddy?
Move that way, because I just don't want that blocking your face. The elbow of it.
This?
Yeah,
What do you want me to do?
That
that.
section.
I don't want that thing blocking your face.
The other way.
Yeah, and then sit in.
There
There
we
we go.
I'm used to this.
There
Every
we go.
podcast I go on, it's like,
This is good?
we always cut it out, but there's
Sure.
always like
Yeah.
10, 15 minutes of this
I'm
shit.
just fucking around. Yeah, typical.
Okay, well, there we go.
Can I get your water, Celsius?
I think I'm good.
All right.
Yeah, we got our sponsor, Celsius.
Yeah, live fit. We're out here getting free drinks, baby.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Come on.
Normally we would.
That's
oh,
it.
that's the song. I know the
That's
song.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like a name that tune real quick. I know that song.
Yeah.
That's a good intro
It's
for
a fucking-
a podcast.
It was cool.
In the main line is you want to go for a ride. It was the
Yeah.
video I
Yeah.
used, or it was the song I used for one of the first videos we ever put out, and I was obsessed with the cover. And like Vanna covered like 4 other songs. One of them was Korn. It was just like songs they grew up to.
Yeah.
And he fell in love with it. He was
Oh,
like, I
man.
fucking love that song.
That fucking song ripped.
yeah.
Yeah, watching the video of us riding, I'm like, oh man, you got a fucking good one. That's
Yeah.
gold right there.
That is a good one. It's one of those songs where you're like, when you find those songs, you're like, how the fuck hasn't anybody used this for
Right.
any type of video part or
Right.
montage or
Totally.
whatever, That's one of them.
Yeah, with 100%.
I just remember it coming out as a kid on the radio. Like that was just like one of the songs that, like I was telling you before, the radio station, like on fucking repeat, Smashing Pumpkins, Soundgarden, and all of the grunge bands. Like
Yeah.
I was a kid to that, but I mean, you two. I mean, you were in high school. What were you in the
I
'90s?
was probably just fresh out of. I was in prison.
Really?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I was fresh out of.
Bam!
I was fresh out of high school, and the grunge thing for me is funny because I was heavy in the, whether it be from like New York East Coast hip hop to hardcore and punk, and grunge to me was like I just like loser shit. Like I didn't like any of the bands. I didn't like the look. I didn't give a shit about Seattle. I was on the East Coast. So it kind of like it went by me where there's a few bands like, there was a few bands that were pretty rough like Tad and even all the way over to like I don't want to really you can kind of throw Primus into that too like like the weirdo bands, but some of those guys some of those bands grabbed me a little bit, but for the most part I couldn't stand it. And now I'm going through like I'll go down a grunge wormhole on YouTube. I'm like, fuck, this Soundgarden song is actually pretty cool.
Right.
Like, it's okay. But it wasn't, it wasn't angry enough. To me, it was like hippie shit back
Yeah.
then. I wasn't
Where are you
feeling
from?
it. Originally from New York, New Jersey, and I moved here from Miami.
No shit. The
All-
city of New York?
All up and down the East Coast, yeah.
Okay, so the hardcore scene there was fucking on and cracking
Oh, yeah,
in the
yeah.
'80s. So you
Yeah.
got Agnostic Front, Madball,
Absolutely.
all that
Yeah.
good shit.
Yeah, I don't even think Madball was too young. Those guys were kids.
H2O.
Freddie was a kid then,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean all the
And then the
from,
DC scene.
Yeah, yeah. I mean it was just fucking incredible, man. I got extremely lucky and fortunate too with I would be on like skateboard tours and we would happen to catch like I've probably been to 15 Bad Brain shows, because they were going up the East Coast at the same time or something, and it's like, oh shit, we'll go over here. You don't miss those bands like Bad Brains, Circle Jerks,
Fugazi.
Fear, any never saw them, but like any of those old '80s punk and hardcore bands were pretty accessible to me back then. a lot of bands came down to South Florida too, because that scene was fucking violent.
Was it?
Wow.
It was wild, yeah.
Really?
South
No
Florida was
shit.
wild, man. So we had great places to go to shows, plenty of them, and yeah, that's like where like I saw my first Suicidal Tendency show, which nothing's been the same since.
No.
You know, like that's been you know, fucking Suicidal was because I didn't like the look of punk either. You know, I didn't
Yeah.
like the mohawk and the spikes and all the fucking weird like. It was goofy
Slamming
to me.
heroin out of toilet water.
Just didn't like it, you know. But the music was undeniable. Like, holy shit, this is rad, you know. Like 45-second song of run through a wall, you know, it's so rad. But I didn't like the look of it. And then Suicidal came, and I was like, holy shit, these guys dress like how we're dressing over here. And I was in the, you know, lowriding's my first love. So like I was like, oh shit, these guys get it. Like I'm gonna kind of do what these guys are doing. And back then, there was no way to like research a band. Kind of.
Yeah, there was no Wikipedia.
You read the back of the album. You kind of like looked at the inserts. Thrasher magazine would maybe say a couple paragraphs about them in the notes section, you know. But other than that, you learned about them by what, you know, the myths that were out there. The older guys would tell stories about them, and like, oh, those guys are real gangsters from Venice, you know. So you grow up with all that, and it was more fun that way too, because you had to go experience it, you know. And a Suicidal show in the '80s was fuck, dude. You survived it.
Yeah, right. I've always heard that too.
Yeah.
We have some old time friends, you know what I mean, that will still go to the shows, and they're like, these shows ain't shit. You know what I mean? Back in the day, it used to be a fucking full on fight. Like just get in with the business.
It was yeah. It was
So did you do your growing up in South Florida or up on the East Coast?
both. I was
Okay.
back and forth a bunch.
Got it.
Broken home, you know. Me and my mom stayed up north, and my pops went down south, and then they would try and work it out every once in a while, and then once I started skating, it just so happens to be like South Florida and New Jersey. New Jersey's better than New York, you know, like
Yeah.
for everything, from
Hardcore.
food to hardcore to fucking skateboarding, everything. It's Jersey is New York's dirtier, tougher, older brother, younger brother.
Yeah. Getting it right off the turnpike.
Yeah, man.
You skate with Vallely?
You know, it's such a trip. There's another. So he's the most legendary skateboarder, I would say, to come out of New Jersey. He's as Jersey as it gets. But there's another guy that's still doing it by the name of Bobby Pulio, and both of those guys, that's Jersey. You know, as classic as it gets, as good as it gets. Like those dudes are untouchable. I grew up skating with Bobby. Like Bobby's probably my longest running friend. You know, we were children, like trying to ride skateboards down a hill in Jersey. And then, you know, we both did our thing. He's always been way the fuck better than me. Always better than everybody around us, you know. But I got to grow up with him. And he would be the guy where, you know, typical Jersey family, like, you know, the kids run the basement. So I would fly out and go stay with him. And mom didn't care. You know, I was the most polite one in the house, you know. I was always very, you know, I learned at a very young age, like, be good to the parents, be overly polite, thank them 1,000,000 times for dinner, you know. Bobby would get pissed, like, come on, man, you're making me like a derelict over here.
Yeah.
But then you're always welcome in the house, and, you know, that's, you know, I grew up pretty poor, too, so it was either, like, go eat spaghetti at Bobby's house or Frosted Flakes for dinner at my house, you know, so.
Potted meat.
That was my thing, yeah. So, but, you know, the thing with that, too, is this is how I knew skateboarding was it's about as consuming as it gets. I also had an uncle, just thugged out Uncle Ronnie. He was in Patterson, New Jersey. He lived in an apartment on the top of his mechanic garage, you know. And he's as Jersey as it gets, hard as nails, man. Like, so I'm staying with him for a little bit, and it was spring break, and was from Fort Lauderdale, Florida at the time, the spring break capital of the world in the fucking 80s, you know.
Oh, God.
The whole world is going, they're flying in. I remember being at the airport, and the whole
Cocaine
world's
is in the air.
flying into Fort Lauderdale, and I'm flying to fucking Newark, New Jersey.
Oh my
Whoa,
god. Is
time
that
out.
home, Newark?
And he's like, hey, you know, I got a question for you. He's like, so you just left Fort Lauderdale, Florida, spring break, bikinis, chicks, beautiful. I was a little young to probably take down a college girl. Like I'm wasting my time, like even going over there, and like we would go down there and like skate, try and get their attention. But 13 years old, man, it's not gonna happen. I was just smart enough to know like you're wasting your time down here, dude. But he would be like, so you just left all of that to come skate with some dudes in New Jersey and stay with me in this fucking shithole. Like,
Right.
Everything all right with you, kid? Like, it was a serious question. You know what I mean? Like, you okay? Like, you like girls, right?
Yeah, right. Right now.
What 80s question?
Yeah, that's so an 80s question.
Totally.
That's like my uncle. You like girls, right?
AIDS is the thing, kid. Don't fuck around.
Put a
Break your mother's heart.
Yeah.
The funny thing was like, I did, I mean, yeah, you did girls skating and everything, but at the same time, at that age, from 13 to 17, 18, girls are a major inconvenience. Like, they take you off your board.
Right.
So you're hanging out with a chick, your friends are learning new tricks skating that night. Now you just fell behind. That's the worst thing that can happen in skating, in your group.
Right. Especially
Everybody,
at that age.
yeah, everybody's progressing, everybody's ripping. To miss a rad session, like, oh, we found this killer ditch, like, oh, it was so sick, best session ever. I'm hanging out with frickin' Brittany.
Yeah.
I'm over here heavy petting Brittany.
Yeah, exactly.
What's Brittany doing for me? Nothing.
She didn't even give me a dry hand.
Yeah, not even a fucking handy.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much that's the way it would.
Yeah,
it would-
second base over here.
So yeah, after a few of those sessions, you're like, well, yeah, I'm just gonna go fucking skate, man.
Yeah.
You weigh your options, and it is a trip thinking back. But I do remember having that conversation with my uncle, laughing, and then going and telling Bobby about it and all that shit. But Bobby was like, yo, dude, he's got a point, man. Like, skateboarding we're consumed by it, and that's it. And any skateboarder could understand that. They've been in that situation where it's Friday night, they could be at the whatever party, but they're skating,
What portion of the 80s were you skating at? Like, what year is it about this time when you're skating with Bobby? Because that tells the tale of where skateboarding was at, too.
Yeah, I mean, I've known Bobby since the early 80s.
So it was
we
Gaining momentum.
we literally were children learning how to ride a skateboard for the most part. Like, how I met him is I was at my grandmother's house in Clifton, New Jersey, and there's no skate culture there, and I was just rolling down to the local bodega, and
That's a corner store.
Yeah, I was like,
corner store in the East Coast, like in the hood.
A packy.
And I just looked to my right at the street that I was passing, and I saw a little launch ramp out there and some kids skating, and I was like, what in the like, that didn't happen back in the day, And so I just went up to him. I mean, that's the way skateboarding was, too. If you met another skateboarder, it was like, hey, what's up, new friend?
Yeah.
There was no...
So we're tight now.
Yeah, it's crazy now. Like, you meet somebody new now, and you're like, that dude's a cop.
oh, yeah. We got like
Fucking
4
cop.
people right now. We're like, he's a cop.
Yeah. But
You know who you are, too.
That is talk about a complete 180 on it. Like, every skateboarder you met in the 80s, you automatically became friends. I didn't know we would be friends for life, but that was that. Like, you'd meet a skateboarder, and then you go back and hang out at his house. Parents were always super cool, typical New Jersey parents. The more the merrier. They always made extra food,
Yeah.
and that was the culture of it, man. Like, it didn't fucking matter what color you were, who you were. You did get judged only on your commitment to skateboarding.
Damn.
If you weren't that into it, if you were a kook, if you did other shit, if you're kind of a jock too, like, well, can't deal with you.
Sorry, dude. Fuck off.
Yeah, you got to be. If you were a lifer, if you were a heavy fucking skateboarder, then you were friends with that person. And then there were little cliques and little groups, but those groups would wind up getting together, and skateboarding.
Right.
It was like the unspoken unity in that was there's nothing like it.
What was skating in Florida like, though?
Florida was rad. It was different. You know, in New Jersey and New York, like, it's crazy to fucking think this, but like, you know, you take the PATH train. You're 14 years old. You take the PATH train
Into the city.
which you can get fucked up on the PATH train. Care who you are. And yeah, at midnight, jump on the fucking PATH train, go to the city from Hoboken, which Hoboken back then in Jersey was nothing to fuck around with, man.
It's really
All of
nice
it.
now.
Rough,
There
huh?
was no gentrification back then.
Yeah, now it's super gentrified.
Yeah, it's beautiful. The thing is, though, you can still get fucked up there, though. It's
Yeah.
still New Jersey. There's still schemers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're from $1 million homes and shit, but they'll still rob you. It's still a strange
Just for-
thing. Like they'll still be like, "What's that shoes you got on, homie?" You know? It's like, "Oh, I guess we got to fight now.
Your size, what's cracking?
And that's but yeah, we would go into the city, and we would call them missions or journeys. We called there was another. I mean, even in Jersey, there was a downtown Patterson we call Freaky Town. And you know, back then you're skateboarding. It's all about tricks. It's all about finding rad spots and skating, and learning new shit. Like it was very militant, you know, but fun. That was how we had our fun. But there was also places where we skated just to survive. Let's go rip through Times Square and like ollie over bums, like
Yes.
weave in and out of pimps and whores, and you know, and just see the fucking weirdness and experience the weirdness of it. And we always felt like we're moving at 20 miles an hour. You know, we're little kids, but as long as nobody snatches us up, you know, and then there's enough of us where we got bored. It's like we had an escape plan
Right.
at all times, and we could handle ourselves for being that young. But
It's like a scene out of Kids.
yeah, I mean,
Literally.
it was. Well, that's how we went down there. We went down and just experienced life way early, way fucking early, man. Like conversations with hookers,
I was saying New York is
conversation. You know, where-
completely different than what it was then too.
Yeah.
Like peep shows and the fucking, like you said, pimps and hookers everywhere.
Dude, it was the craziest melting pot you could ever imagine of people. And it made you feel that, like, it's all weird. That's why we call downtown Patterson Freaky Town. Because everywhere you looked, there was just strange shit going on, from somebody overdosing, like, somebody overdosing and dying. Like, well, there it is. Ambulance might show up.
Might not.
You know, like, just a lot of weird shit. Crazy old people. You know, it was like around that time period too. Was that all that controversial mental? You know, letting the mental, you know, closing down all the mental hospitals and all that shit. That just got done in the mid '70s,
Yep.
late '70s. They were all roaming the fucking streets, man, like zombies. Which I feel like I'm seeing that all again now.
I know.
1,000%.
Yeah, I was about to say that's what's happening right now.
Yeah, it reminds me of old New York, you know, where there's a guy walking down the street fucking screaming at himself, you know. When we were 14 years old, that was hilarious to us. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Now I'm like insanely annoyed by it. You know, now
Yeah.
I'm on the phone trying to talk to somebody, trying to handle something. This fucking guy's screaming. But I have to remember, it's like, well, he has absolutely no idea what he's doing right now.
Or where he's
Because
at.
If he could have a choice, I bet he would have his sanity back, you know. You don't know the story, but yeah, there was like a time period there, I feel, of like 20 years where you didn't see so much of that, and now we're mysteriously fucking seeing it again everywhere. And we're becoming desensitized to it as well.
1,000%. It's like, oh, just gotta like teach my 6-year-old that, you know, some people are homeless and they shit on the street.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Bizarre time.
Yeah.
It really is.
I think it's a misappropriation of power and our lack of concern about it, whereas the general populace is more concerned with what the fucking Kardashians are fighting about versus what's going on in their own fucking neighborhood.
Oh, the distractions now are, you know, we didn't have that back then. There was no you know, it was whatever was in front of you is what was happening. And that was it. There was no spin to it. There was no nothing where, you know, now it's like a dude screaming on the street. There could be 6 different people there with 6 different opinions on what's going on with him, you know?
Yeah.
There's people that'll try and convince you that it's your fault that he's like that. There's people that'll blame somebody else. There's people that'll blame drugs. There's people, and it's like, man, I don't need all these opinions on
I
what's
just need the
going
guy
on
to get
there.
some fucking help.
Maybe some help would be good. You know? So, you know, and then like, you know, the shitting on the street thing is like that. The fact that is that's a thing now. You might, you know, if you're in San Francisco, you might step in human shit. what the fuck is going on with this world, man? You
Well,
know?
I travel up and down the West Coast: Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, L.A., San Diego, all at Vancouver.
Vancouver, I was
Vancouver
gonna
is the
say, you said-
fucking gnarliest of
Yeah.
them all, and the cops there are, I would say, even more crippled than the ones in Portland and
Yeah.
Seattle. Like, they literally just have them like the homeless section like sectioned off to like Chinatown, and
Yeah.
it's a beautiful city, gnarly, fucking gnarly.
Yeah. I've been to Vancouver for Vans sales meeting, and a mandatory sales meeting there. And I was like, what? Why did you bring us here? What the fuck are we doing
Right,
here,
what's
man?
going
We
on?
could
This
have
is like-
gone anywhere, you know? But there is parts of Vancouver. Like when I first landed, I was like, wow, this looks like a beautiful New Jersey, like the nice parts of Jersey, you know?
Yeah.
And then you go downtown, and there is, I don't know what that section is called that you're talking about, but we all ended up walking through it because we were on our way to Skull Skates, which is like, Skull Skates is about as 80s skate history as you can get, you know? We walked through that, and yeah, there's literally people with needles in their arms on the street.
Slumped over. Another section that was like equally gnarly was the Tenderloin in San Francisco. I
Yeah.
took the BART, hopped off. I was like, oh, I know, because I like to save as much money as I can because I'm responsible for like getting reimbursed. So the less I spend is less out of my bank account. So I'm like, oh, I'll take the BART, hop off at wherever this fucking Tenderloin is. Had no idea what I was getting into. I get off and I got a suitcase with me and a backpack, and I'm in the thick of it. There's a dude slumped over at the waist, standing up with a pipe in his hand. There's hookers in the street, and they're hitting me up. And then I look up the fucking block, and I see 3 dudes in full fucking ski masks, and I'm like, it's time to call the Uber.
right,
It's
yeah,
time
that's
to
real.
get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Because those dudes see me, they're walking my way. I'm about to become a victim. Like,
Yeah.
I'm about to become a statistic.
Possibly.
Yeah. It's fucking it, and nobody like gives a fuck.
Dude, they're giving them syringes and needles and fucking pipes and everything.
Yeah, we're in recovery, but we have a very, very differing views about harm reduction and what that looks like. I don't think you give people Suboxone. I don't think fucking. I don't know.
You,
Harm
you
reduction looks
definitely don't
different.
give them rigs and fucking syringes, tie-offs.
Keep them
You know what I
using.
mean? Like, it's fucking bizarre.
You remove them from the drugs, in my opinion. If you're that kind of addict, if you can smoke weed and not shoot heroin, please keep doing that.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna eventually go back to it, that's a fucking problem.
Yeah.
San Francisco's the worst, dude.
Yeah.
That place, Tenderloin, is scary as fuck, and I was there like 3 years ago.
It is a trip how cities handle stuff a lot differently. You know, like I was actually surprised to see what happened in Venice. Venice is
It
like
turned around a little bit. I understand.
in the '80s. That was one of the hardest beach cities there ever was. You know, right up there with Oceanside. You know,
Yeah.
don't fuck with Venice locals, man. Well, now there are no Venice locals. Now these guys are all multi-millionaire dudes that have bought property in the, you know, in the nicest areas there, and they built, you know, they tore down the rad little beach bungalow that was there and the surf hut, and they put up this big glass monstrosity house, and they live there maybe 4 months out of the year as they bounce around, and well, now they come home and they got a homeless encampment in front of their fucking house. You know?
Yeah.
Nothing you can do about it. What are you gonna do? You know, try that shit in Oceanside.
Not going to. But they're trying to gentrify, dude. So on Oceanside Boulevard, I know from what I've heard that they're trying to fucking push all the OG spots out
Yeah,
to fucking build sky like high rises.
they're doing their best to do it. The locals are fighting it. It's not going to be. It'll never be like Venice. You know, they're still, the locals are finding ways to stay and fight it. But it is there are some parts of Oceanside where I'm like, oh, God damn it, man! Like, why did they let this happen? Why did we let this happen? You know.
Right.
But as far as that whole homeless in front of your house type thing, the motorhomes and all that shit, there was one last summer I had to laugh, man. Like, word gets around quick. You know, there's a lot of group texts. You know, a lot of we hold it down. You know,
Police our own.
and his fucking mobile home shitbox rolls up and parks in front of one of our friends' houses. You know, and allegedly, you know, I don't know anything.
I didn't even have to fucking tell him. Allegedly.
That's our word.
Yeah, it was. But,
Somebody may have knocked on the fucking door.
Yeah.
well, not even that. It was on the.
Whoa, whoops, excuse me.
Yeah, people were talking, and these guys were like, they weren't just homeless real homeless. If there was a family in there or something, people down on their luck, well, you get a little extra time to figure your life out. You know.
Yeah.
Professional vagrant. You know, you're gonna fucking steal the copper out of my house when I,
Yeah.
you know, run to the store real quick. Well, fuck you.
Yeah.
I owe you nothing but violence.
Yep.
And it was pretty rad to see what they were there for about a week, which was quite long. It was dragging a little bit, you know. And then next thing you know, I drive by and there's a orange spray paint on the motorhome that said "Time's Up," and the motorhome was just beat to fucking dog shit, like destroyed. They were, you know, windshield shattered, everything blasted, and that motorhome was fucking, it was gone.
Down the road.
Yeah.
Fucking love that.
Must have just happened. You know, obviously I have no idea who would do such a thing, you know.
Not even
It's
the
just
slightest idea.
such violence, you know.
Yeah.
But
Beyond me.
Hey, I don't miss them.
Not
You know
a
what I mean?
fucking bit.
I don't wonder. Hey, I wonder whatever happened to that fucking those two tweakers that were, you know, harassing people and being rude,
Right.
and being, you know, they thought they were in Venice. They made a mistake. They were
Yeah,
a
take that
little
shit.
south. you
Yeah.
know?
Take that shit back to Venice.
Yeah.
No, what's crazy is I didn't know about Venice being like as hard as it was, and then you know the actor John Barenthal, that dude's like a Venice local, and I listened to him tell a story about fucking these fucking rich dudes are in Venice. This is like early '90s, I think, and they're fucking with these like local dudes that are like playing the didgeridoo or something, and they fucking hassled them or something, and they kicked the shit out of these two dudes.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm fucking here for that. But Venice is fucking. When I first got to California, dude, you were there, motherfucker. We did this trip to Zuma Beach to go surf with this clothing brand. Me and him worked at Zoomies, and then we were like, oh, we're gonna go to fucking Venice. And I'm like, sick, I've never been.
Oh,
We
boy.
show up, and we're at that main parking lot right before you get to the boardwalk. And I'm sitting there just like, I'm a generally social dude, so I'm chopping it up with this dude. His like homegirl comes out, and I'm talking to her, and she's like, you're really nice. Here, have this. I'm like, what is it? And they're like, oh, it's Boomer tea. And I look at my buddy, I'm like, what's this? He said, fucking drink it now. I fucking drink it, and it's shroom tea.
Oh,
and I had
shit.
the best first Venice experience. It was incredible.
Yeah, it was beautiful in the '80s, man. It was the best combination of weird skate, surf, culture. Like it all meshed so well together. I really enjoyed my time of flying. You know, whenever I had a choice, you go to California and skate a contest. Like, oh yeah, I'm down. Let me skate. Like, how far are we from Venice? You know.
Damn.
I really enjoyed old Venice, old LA. That's where I always planned and thought I would move when that time came. You know, I didn't have a lot of love for San Diego. I thought it was a little too bougie even back then.
Really?
And but you know, I didn't get to experience I didn't get to experience like really. I was always here just for skateboarding purposes. So it was late at night. We're skating at school. We're lighting it up with a generator. Nobody's around, and then we're fucking back out of there. Like until I got to actually like come and hang out in Carlsbad. Old Carlsbad was beautiful. Of course, Oceanside was fucking amazing to me. Oceanside has a really East Coast beach feel to it,
Definitely does.
especially back then. And that's what grabbed me. Where I was like, I like this, man. I like the kind of. I need that grimy, dirty,
Gritty, just
gritty
fucking-
beach. Yeah, like blue collar beach.
Yeah.
You know, the heavy locals and then once again the skate culture there. Like street skateboarding was kind of kicked off as we know it in Oceanside.
Yeah.
The first real skate contest where real tricks went down and okay, this is something now. Happened in Oceanside at the amphitheater.
I was
there.
just say right there at the amphitheater on the
Yeah.
big ass. Wow.
Yeah, nothing's changed there. Well, little bits of things have changed, but that okay. So that's to me, that was like seeing the footage from that contest, like the raw footage and the photos and everything. That was like the backdrop, the pier, the bleachers, the beach, the sand, the strand. I was just like absolutely blown away by that. Like I want to be around that. That's really, damn, the beach, the girls. It had it all. You know, Huntington was like that too back in the day. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad that that's where I wound up. That's my final stop.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care where whatever happens from here on out. My plan is to just ride it out in Oceanside. You know, I'm back and forth. I'm all over the place. I have like investment properties in Arizona and stuff, which I have a shit ton of love there. But the plan is always, home is always, I need to get home. You know, that's on the calendar. I'm always trying to stretch out the amount of time that I'm in Oceanside.
And I saw the hat earlier at bike night, and I was like, okay, he fucking got a lot of love for Oceanside.
Yeah, big time.
How long have you been there for?
20. We're closing in on 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah. When I bought a house there, I didn't want to buy a house. I wanted to live there.
Right.
But I ended up making some money that year, you know, from skateboarding, and then being in the industry as well. I made more money in 1 year than I ever made in, you know, legit wise, and I ended up having to give it all back for taxes for the most part. I didn't spend it on the right shit, you know. So I was introduced to. I didn't know what a CPA was. I was introduced, and I'm like, why? What is that? I'm the one that fucking jumped down the stairs. I'm the one that did all that. Why do I owe them anything, you know? He goes, here's what you got to do. Get married, have kids, and buy a house. And I go, dude, none of that sounds fun. I was
I'm
living
not doing all that.
No, I'm living in Skate House with a ramp in the backyard and a dirt bike track in Carlsbad by the beach at the time, pretty much for free. I think I was paying like $300 a month rent because sponsors were helping me out with stuff and everything. And I'm like, what the fuck? Who buys a house? Like, that sounds lame.
Yeah.
Like, I live there by myself, you know?
Loser.
Yeah.
So, but then it really, you know, the house thing started to make sense when I started to drive in the neighborhoods of Oceanside. I was always like, man, this really reminds me of it's a cross between like a Clifton, New Jersey, you know, with the old rad houses. It just brought me back to nostalgia, and just that, you know, the culture of like historic beach house, you know. So, you know, I bought a house, and I'm one of the few people where, I mean, back then, like I said, all my friends that were having success, making money, skateboarding, surfing, whatever they're doing, these guys are raking it in. They were like, what are you buying there for? Just save an extra 100 more, you know, 100 grand more, you can go get into Carlsbad at the time, you know. And they were like, your payment will be like $400 a month more. I'm like, I'm not interested in Carlsbad, Encinitas, all that. Those are all great places, but I like Oceanside, and plus for the price, I can get it to beach. You know, I want to smell the beach when I wake up, and I want to hear the waves. I can't get that close in Carlsbad, like with my budget that I came up with. You know, so you guys curious to how much houses were?
Yes,
back
sure.
then?
1,000%.
I don't think you want to know.
I was just gonna
People-
ask.
100.
People get pissed, man. 200,
Are you on, and how far are you away from the water?
few blocks.
Oh, nice.
I can't see the ocean until I walk to the corner, and then I'm right where that like historic bridge is.
Sure.
That you always see, South Ho, that old bridge where, you know, vehicles can't cross it anymore. It's too old, but it leads right to the water there. You know, so a couple blocks and I'm on a public beach. You know, beautiful beach. And I'm also on one of the widest streets in Oceanside because there's a fire department there. And the old fire trucks didn't have the turning radius to you know, to
Clear the
to
corner.
clear the corner. So it's that you stand on my street, and every fucking photographer in the world stands on that street and takes photos because it's all palm tree light. So that's the street. There's a few of them.
That's a spot.
That's the spot.
Yeah.
That's the California Dream spot. you
Right.
know.
The
And
Top Gun house did it for me. I was
Yeah, that too. There's so much there that's
Yeah.
it's just beautiful, you know. So, yeah, Oceanside is like the beautiful loser.
Yeah.
sunny place for shady people.
100%.
Yeah.
I love it. I fucking love it.
And you know, I've made the best friends that anybody could make there. Like, there's just something about that town where, you know, the guys that grew up there, they don't make them any more fucking solid. You know, I don't even have to mention names, but they're just the best dudes. You know, something about the way they were raised, something about the way they, the kind of unwritten rules, you know, in that town. Good, just as solid as they come, man. And that's it. That's you know, those are friends for life there. You know.
Yeah.
What was Encinitas like? Because I heard it used to be like a sleepy old biker town. And that before it got all rich and bougie.
I mean, maybe if you want to go back like 35, 40 years,
Oh, okay.
something. When I was there, it was a dirty, kind of like from Cardiff south. You got Cardiff, heavy skate, heavy surf culture.
Still.
You had to be pretty successful to own there. Of course, it's always been expensive. Back then, it was like 700,000, 600,000 for a house. Now you're at 2-3 million
Yeah.
for a house on the hill there.
Yeah, 3
All
million
Cardiff is
all
a
day.
big hill.
Yeah.
And every house has ocean view. So, so you got Cardiff. But the thing is, Cardiff was like a SF or a New York City where you could still find a little studio in someone's backyard for $375 a month. So it was like heavy. It was very popular with skateboarders and stuff.
I used to party there at Shanty in the office.
Yep.
SOS, Shanty office,
Yep.
Shanty. And it's crazy how like from when I went there to it's still like the same demographic of kids, like
Yeah.
21 to 24 in like the culture of whatever's
Yeah.
going on right then.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, I mean, when I first moved here, I used to hang out with a well-known artist who did all the graphics for Rhythm Skateboards and Planet Earth. He's from Miami, Jose Gomez, who was very tight with Shepard Fairey back then.
Fuck yeah.
And every weekend I was playing pool with Shepard. So I have I have a pretty ridiculous collection of Obey stuff. He would always give me stuff, and it's shit that's like printed on model paper. He couldn't afford a canvas back then, so he did a print on model instructions how to put together a model.
Holy
and he gave me that, and he numbered it, signed it, you know.
Damn.
And
We got to
people-
meet him through Zoomies. That was fucking rad. That was one of like him and Giant were like two of my fucking idols.
Yeah.
And like what initially got me into wanting to start a clothing brand was what Rebel 8 then had going on, but most importantly Mike Giant's artwork and then
Yeah.
Shepard. Meeting Shepard, I had him fucking it's a felony to maybe I shouldn't say this. Allegedly it's a felony to write on dollar bills. I had Shepard sign a dollar bill for me.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He did. He said just one more for the road, and fucking
Yeah.
Shepard Fairey was fucking. I wish I still had it.
Yeah.
I think the ex got that in the fucking divorce.
Went to the bag, huh?
Yeah. Fuck. That's fucking wild. Dude.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, look, thinking about that back then, there was another famous artist, skateboarder, Andy Howell, who he would be down there, Buster Halterman, pro skater. Like, it was just a bunch of legends in this shit bar.
Yeah.
The office is where that's where we hung out.
That place is fucking like it's got such dingy good vibes.
Yeah.
Though.
Then there was a saloon in Encinitas, which I'm permanently banned for
Let's hear it.
for my own good. I ended up. It was so long ago. I don't know if I could say too much now, but there was an altercation, and it was when I first started with Vans, and
Sponsored or working for?
working. for
Oh,
'em.
shit.
So yeah, it was serious, and I went down there. I wasn't in the know that when you're with a corporate brand like that, you're the face of the brand. You can't be putting hands on people, even if it's in self-defense. Luckily, that bar is owned by Adrian Lopez and some of the other guys that covered for me. Like, oh yeah, I mean, whoever it was the guy defended himself. I think his name's Steve. He's from LA. And,
He's from out of town.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know who it
listen.
is.
The dude got fucking money. He deserved it. He hit me in the face with a bottle, but the bottle just kind of like slid, like the wet just slid off my face. I didn't even feel it, but it broke when it hit the ground, and that's when I turned around. And I was like, "Yo, you put your hands up, dude." So he got mopped up, and yeah, it could have been really fucking bad, and of course, I wasn't there.
Yeah.
But the thing that happened at around the same time is there's another rep in the industry that was just a heavy hitter. He's still around. He recovered well from this, but he wound up beating the brakes off some dude at an event that worked at a skate shop. He's at an event all day, and like opening up boxes and like giving stuff away. So he's got a box cutter on him, and then some dude that works at a shop. He wasn't even sure that he didn't even think he worked at a shop, but just randomly started fucking with him. And he stretched the neck out on a shirt, like these pro club shirts here.
Yeah.
Like, don't disrespect. It's like stepping on someone's shoes on
Right.
purpose. Like,
Yeah.
it's worthy of losing some teeth.
Yeah.
So
Oh, fuck with my pro club, dog.
yeah, man, it's just lame, you know.
Come on.
So,
What are you- just don't be touch my shirt.
yeah, so the dude, I mean, I can say his name. It's a known thing in the industry. His name's Jimmy. Jimmy popped him like he should have, you
Right.
know. And then of course Jimmy hits like a truck, man. So
Yeah, just
dude
cinder
got-
blocks fucking
yeah,
hands.
he got severely injured, and the dude that owned the shop at the time called Vans and was like, you know, one of your rep just beat up one of our employees. I'm afraid of him now. I can't have him. You know, like what? So now that goes to like Vans Legal. This is corporately owned. This isn't, you know,
Yeah.
a garage brand.
Jeff's not
You know?
answering
Yeah,
the
yeah,
phone
right.
saying, "I'll handle this."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it ended up going where like he ended up losing his gig,
Fuck.
and it sucked because he was by far the number one. Like him and I were an experiment that old Vans management did, where the average guy that works at Vans, like, if you know, to be a rep, they want ex-pro skaters or surfers, and you know, guys that are just kind of at the end of their career, not quite sure what they're going to do, but they're good guys, they're solid, and they're ready to learn. You know, you're ready to, because the learning curve is gnarly. It's intimidating as shit, man. It's scariest thing I've ever done, I think, is go work at Vans. That making that choice to just go and stop doing what I'm doing, which was guaranteed easy money, to go over to Vans. Vans is intimidating as shit, man. It's like a Nike. you
Yeah.
know?
Really
And
is,
you're
yeah.
surrounded by the top of the top designers, everybody. It's everybody in marketing. It's all
just-
legends in that. You walk in the building and you're like fanning out. But you can't fan out.
Yeah,
you
you gotta
got to go to
maintain.
work, man. Yeah, it's time for you to go handle some stuff, you know?
What was your first position? Were you a marketing guy or sales?
They brought me in as I was known as so the sales rep thing at Vans. They don't really need a salesman.
All right.
You kind of direct the brand, and you're in charge of like how that brand shows up. You know, if you notice when you go into all the best skate shops, Vans is front and center on the wall. We got the best BOP. The product is very current. Everything's flowing in correctly. It makes sense, and that's what you do. You got to kind of ward off your competition is trying to do the same thing. You know, in a much dirtier way. You know, for Vans is a very clean way of kind of doing it. So you're limited on your tools on what you can do, and you got to be patient. I've learned more with the whole Vans thing, more about life. You know, like as far as the patience thing, like Vans taught me the right way of doing it. The way I handled shit at the saloon is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You're only going to get so far in life that way.
Yeah.
There's been many times where I wanted to choke somebody out, but instead I just went ahead and destroyed them in a business way.
The best.
That's like
The
my life.
best.
It's literally my life. I work in corporate right now too, and there's 1,000 times where I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I just beat the shit out of
Yeah,
this guy.
you break
But I'm
them.
like, hey, thank you.
You break them
You know
with a
what I mean?
smile on your face.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Or
know?
like, what can I help you with?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm gonna
Just-
catch you during review season.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you know, they call it friendly competition, but there's nothing in that. Like
Don't
they're
slide.
trying to eat off my plate, so good luck to you. But yeah, was you know, with the you know, learning that whole time period of me doing that, and luckily that all kind of faded away. The same thing could have happened to me, you know, if that escalated, if someone, you know, did not see me, you know, or
Yeah,
whatever.
right.
like,
Sure.
So, you know, since then it's been like I've had a much more heightened awareness. You know, I used to always everything revolved around my hands. You know, you can't do that in certain situations. You know, in most situations now there's cameras everywhere.
Everybody's got a fucking
Everybody has a fucking
paid
camera.
$1,000 for a fucking encyclopedia that films everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know,
Fucking wild. So you said your first love was lowriders. In what sense? Like lowrider bikes or lowrider cars?
cars.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Do you have your dream car?
I own it.
Yeah.
You own it? What
Had
is it?
for like 15 years. 62 convertible SS Impala.
Fuck.
Yeah. I got that thing straight showroom, you know, and I drive it. I drive the shit out of it. Most guys put that car on a trailer and they bring it to places. Take the wheels off and look at my chrome, brake cal. Fuck all that. We're only here once, man. Life goes by fast, and there's nothing like rolling the coast in California on a beautiful day with Blue in the passenger seat, and you got the oldies kicking, and your head is just, you feel your head clearing. It's so good. It's up there with motorcycles.
Same. 66 Ford Galaxy convertible. That's the dream.
Those are nice. The tough part about Fords though is you compare them to Chevys. Like, if I was to fold up my quarter panel on my Impala, which would fucking suck, because it's all OG, it's all original, I could go buy a quarter panel, not in a junkyard. Nope. Ford Galaxy, you got to go find a junkyard. You got to go find one. Or you just have to fix that panel.
There's no reman parts for it?
Ford is very neglected in the vintage scene.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly. You wouldn't think, and Chevy's just so popular. That's kind of why the Impala and C10 truck thing is on. You can literally, you can just go and buy all the parts, buy a hood, you don't have to go walk around with a bunch of tweakers at a junkyard and fucking get stung by wasps.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking amazing. It looks like you're picking a new car.
Well, if I had a backup, it would definitely be a Cadillac Eldorado.
Yeah.
Probably later 67, 68.
Cadillacs are easier to get parts for. There's more of them out there than there are Galaxies.
Yeah.
I've never been a big fan of the Cadillac thing, but my friend Eric up at Oceanside just put one on the road that's literally changing a lot of people's opinions on them. When they're done right, the way he did it, they do look good.
What was the car? I just saw a video. It was you walking up to a lowrider and Blue walked. Is that the one?
Everybody tripped out on that video. One, because they're like, "How did you teach Blue not to jump?"
On the car.
Yeah, because that's $150,000 car right there. It's a Ice Cube video car. It's a Dr. Dre car.
Oh shit.
That dude is once again, like, him and I go so far back, and we've been through so much shit. He's family to me. It's Lowrider Lee. He's from up at Oceanside, very connected in the lowrider game. I love seeing him in a car that nice, because where he comes, his background that wasn't in the cards for him.
Fuck.
Now he's hustled, he's done his thing, and he's he's a real G, man. Like, I respect that dude. And for that, it's funny, you go places with him, and guys that know lowriders know him, and they're like, fuck, there he is.
Yeah.
It's a trip. You go to LA with him or something, like, that's the guy. But it's kind of neat in Oceanside, he might just roll up at my house and we'll go for a little cruise. And then Eric was there too. That Cadillac was we all just went for a cruise. That's it. Maybe go grab some food. It's as basic and as simple as you can get. There's nothing complicated about it. Like, that plan came together in 7 minutes, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, my day changed. Like, you're on your way over? Oh shit! All right, well, let me go get gas. Let me fuck. Yeah.
All right, we got the whole thing going.
There it is. Yeah, like, we're gonna do this. When we can get together, everybody's schedules. We all battle. Same thing with motorcycles. Getting everybody together, it's so much easier said than done. We give each other shit. Like this and that. It used to be like me and the San Diego Customs guys. Like, in our younger years, we were always out on the bikes. Always, man. In the summer, man, it was just a daily thing. We were going to go do something. Something was going on. That as you progress in life and things get busier and things get crazier and more responsibility comes, and then one of us moves to Ramona. Another one moves, we all used to live in the, things change so fast as you get older. It's hard to get together, man. That's why you don't take it for granted. It's so awesome to be able to do things like that. Just go for a cruise with your friends, go hang out somewhere, go grab food. It's my favorite, one of my favorite things to do. Just a random, like, oh shit, we're gonna go ride. Like, all right, let's go do this.
I know, we just got back from Yosemite. I'm like, just thinking about that, I'm like, fuck, that would suck, man. Yeah. I mean, we had such a good time. We had like 14 people. We're just cruising around Yosemite on our Harleys. It was fucking rad.
So you went up there with Joey and
They did. I went out to Arizona to see my kids.
Oh, rad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and there it is. You know what I mean? Like, you would have went, but there's kids. There's, you know.
Yeah.
So, those challenges are, it's the only, because I always say I'm going to live my whole life cheating adulthood. You know, skateboarding is going to be in my life forever. Motorcycles, lowriders, you know, stuff that so many of my friends, you know, I've seen dozens of you know, guys that were perfectly happy doing what they were doing. You know, they were skateboarding. They were into cars. They had projects. They had bikes. And then they did this thing called, like, somebody in their family, or they met a chick, or they did something that stopped all that. Like, hey, you've got a kid on the way? You better sell all those bikes because you're going to need the money for that kid, you know. Or, you know what, you need to get a better job, you know, or you need to do, you're going to be 35 years old, and now it's time for you to start acting a certain way, looking a certain way, living a certain way. And they took the bait, and they did it. And it's sad, man, because I wouldn't trade not growing up for anything. I love this shit, man.
Right.
You know?
You never been married or anything?
Nah. No,
That's not for me.
I lived the life. I had a close call. Yeah, I did.
R.I.P., girl.
I had
a close call.
And it sucked too, man, because so many people made fun of me. Because I'm that dude who will preach to the young bucks like, yo, man, don't, you know, be careful.
Yeah.
Like, you know, be careful in that life. You can lose everything. If it doesn't, you know, you do all the work. And if she decides she doesn't love you anymore, you're the one who's got to go live in a fucking doghouse apartment somewhere. She gets all the shit that you earned, you know? And then all of a sudden I own all this shit. And I meet a girl that, you know, didn't have a pot to piss in. And I did all the things that I claimed I would never do. Yeah, but love is a motherfucker.
Oh,
It really is. It's got nothing to do with pussy or any of that. So you're pussy whipped. No, man, you fall in love, and then you just become blind, you know, to what really is happening. Like, oh, they're moving into your house, you know. Like, okay, well,
That's weird.
There goes the bachelor pad, you know. You know, everything changes. It changes so fast. You know, I struggled with it. Basically almost the entire time, you know. By the time I almost kind of figured it out, it was over. You know? Like, it was years of a learning curve and all that. You know, and I had it easy too, man. Like, I look at my friends where, like, you know, they meet a chick and she's got these nightmare shit kids and, like, baby daddy drama and all this stuff. Like, there was none of that. It was all easily handed to me. It was all great, but you know, at the end, things, you know, didn't work out between her and I still got my house at the beach. That's the happiest fucking ending there could ever be to the ending of any relationship for a male.
Oh my God, yes.
I lost that. We're still friends, you know, it's all good. We should have, the thing is, we should have been friends since the get, you know.
Yeah.
You know, super good people. No bad stories. There's no drama. Nothing.
It just didn't work.
It just didn't work. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of you know, as you go through, like, dating girls and hanging out, a lot of girls you should have just stayed friends with, you know, or just, you know, kept it a booty call or whatever it was. You got too serious. You're two different people, two different paths, and then the whole thing, it was like, look how much you change from. What if you get married when you're 23?
Oh,
Look how much your fucking opinion changes.
yeah, I know. I was about to say
growth to grow together.
Yeah.
I mean, I do have some friends, you know. I've even got some, you know, young blood friends now I've known since they were kids, and I'm like, oh, good. I'm so happy for them because it's just so obvious. They met their soulmate, you know what I mean? And then I don't discourage that at all at this point. You know, like, fuck, you did it. You won the lottery, you know. Go be happy. Go kill it, you know.
Don't fuck that up.
Yeah. But then there's also still the dude that, you know, just paid off his first house, you know, and now he's moving in some whatever the fuck, you know, situation. And there's drama, and he's bummed, and he doesn't have a motorcycle anymore, and he sold it. Every move, you know, I had a talk with a friend where I was like, dude, every move you've made in the last 5 years that I've known you has been negative. And you've made a fucking excuse for it. I didn't really feel like riding anyway. Everybody's a bunch of assholes out there, you know. Like, that car, that thing was a can of worms, man. I was over it. I was never going to finish it anyway, and this and that. And I'm like, what do you do on the weekends now?
You're
get-
just giving
just
away
get-
your happiness, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
you just
Whatever
get-
she wants.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. Hey, what
Bed
are we
Bath
doing?
and Beyond
Yeah,
having
yeah.
a sale.
What are we doing this weekend? Okay, cool.
Oh, what am I doing? Oh, okay, got it. That's what I would say we're doing right now is like, I know for Dustin and I, we've been, for the longest time, we were exchanging our time for money and in return fucking missing out. And like, I've been fortunate in the last year to be able to fucking quit the corporate gig selling cars and like pursue this full time. And then our goal is before.
You're doing LFG full time now.
We're
Good
doing
for
it.
you, man. That's the American dream.
It fucking feels like it, but it's also stressful. And like me and Dustin own a print shop together, so we print not only all the LFG gear, but we also do everybody else's shit too. So anybody
Wow.
you can come, we'll
What a
print
great,
your fucking clothes.
what a great business to
Yeah.
be in, though, man.
Yeah, and
You know?
it's out of his house.
Yeah, we were sick of. So I mean, our screen printer was great, but there's.
He's busy.
So we started in 2020, but nobody was really working. You know what I mean? Everybody's stuck inside the house, and so we decided to do this.
Yeah.
And so we had full access. And then as our screen printer started getting his business back, he was like, okay, well, your pieces compared to so-and-so's that I worked for 10 years. So we were kind of getting on the back burner. I'm like, Graf, we can do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to do this. And fucking, we just started doing it in the first fucking 8 months, man.
Yeah, he bought a house. We put the fucking shop in the garage, and then like our goal is before fucking March next year, maybe he'll be able to fucking allegedly he'll be able to
Yeah,
fucking step away
allegedly.
from his fucking
Yeah.
corporate gig. I don't know if anybody from your work watches.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, great. Well, he might not. I don't fucking know.
There's nothing wrong with anybody that frowns on going to do your own thing. Fuck them.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
gospel right there.
That's. I mean, I've been doing my own thing my entire life. I've never been an employee of a brand before. I'm an independent contractor with everything that I do. No W-2s for me. Make your own rules, make your own schedule, so that nobody can tell you how hard to kill it. You know, if I want to, I'll
You're
work.
personally
I'll work a
responsible for your
24-hour
own.
shift. No problem, because I want the money. Because there's a Road Glide out there I want to go grab. Right. That's the only way I can work. I can't just tune out at a certain time, the same time every day. Sometimes I want to go make some money. That's where like real estate investment is good. You make your own schedule, do your own thing, you make your own choices.
Right.
I highly recommend that. Life is one thing I preach. Life is so short. One thing I've learned about with this whole dog thing too is like our lives are short. You realize that as you get older. Everybody will agree with that. Life is short, man. Their lives are a flash. A dog's life is like really, really, really short. So you have to milk every day with them like it's their last. You've got to really take every single day what you can get out of that day, from just having fun mostly. I mean, that's my new kind of how I judge how good was your day, how much fun did you have. It used to be how much money did I make, how much fun did I have. And that's with a dog, like you think with their mentality, they get up and they just want to have the fucking best day ever. They're not here for a long time. Spend time with the dog, spend time. And you kind of take that of like, okay, our lives are pretty fucking short too, man. So make everything you can out of it. Spend time with your family. Just try and make your life as positive as it possibly can be.
Well, that
PMA,
says it.
baby.
Yeah, that PMA.
I quit. Thank you, Danny. I'm done.
We're not quite there yet.
So I know
You
you're
still have
watching.
a-
Guess what, motherfuckers?
You still got a mortgage to pay. Hold on.
Yeah, yeah.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
We got to be responsible in these decisions
Yeah,
that we
yeah.
make.
Right.
Jesus,
Yeah.
Danny, you come on here. You're upsiding the fucking shit, bro. Ugh.
Goals, man.
No,
it's all
definitely
goals.
a goal,
Yeah, and it's crazy to think that like I don't want to make it about me, but I fucking lost my job here in 2020, and I was freshly back into recovery, and I had been talking about doing a clothing brand, and it felt like my friends didn't want to see me fucking relapse, and they were like, "Let's do this fucking idea," and like they got behind me on it, and it's grown into this fucking gnarly thing where like we're about to be fucking. That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's all we do. We do this. We print shirts. We do events.
Yeah, and it's what I like about your brand too is it's like there's a meaning behind it. There's like a real story behind it. It's not just a lot of guys these days just throw some tough guy graphics on a shirt with some I'll punch you in the face if you look at me wrong, fucking
Yeah.
whatever on it,
Right, right.
and now we have a brand. Like nah, I'm not interested in been wearing any of that kind of shit. You know? But that you guys have that positive thing going on, which is really cool. And I'm not one of those. I don't believe in, you know, I've been sober for a long time, and a lot of people, there's still, I have friends that, you know, I've known for years where they don't even realize that I don't drink. You know, I don't talk about it. You know, you won't really catch me in a bar. If you do, I might hang out front or something like that, talk to my friends, or nothing in there for me. That's what I was telling Josh the other day. It's nothing in there for me, man. Nothing good's gonna happen, you know. So,
Did something happen? Was there a turning point for you?
to get sober?
Yeah.
There was. I mean, I feel it. Wouldn't you say that everybody that gets sober, they hit a crossroads? Wouldn't you say like that's kind of what makes you think? Because otherwise you don't think. You just keep going and doing what you're doing. I wasn't having a bad time. I just drank a lot, man. And you know, my whole thing was malt liquor.
Really?
Yeah.
40s, baby.
Yeah, man. It was 89 cents for a cold ass
You get a
bottle
bunch of them.
Yeah, you get a fucking ton of them. And you know, I had a friend that
Would you drink Mickey's?
Mickey's was good. Old
King
English.
Cobra?
He's
Old
old
English
Brass
was my
Monkeys.
thing. Yeah, no, I liked Old English. That was my thing. A cold Old English, you know. But I would drink whatever beer was in front of me. I never really got into hard liquor, you know. It was just you know, it had to be almost frozen cold. That was my thing. Like warm beer was that wasn't gonna happen. But that was, and you just get into the habit of it, of like, okay, sober up just enough to skate, be slick, you know. I couldn't skate drunk. Some guys can do that. Sober, when it became to that point where it was like sober up enough to skate, maybe be productive in that sense of, because when you're a skateboarder, the most productive thing you can do is learn a new trick. Nothing puts you on a higher. It doesn't matter what. That's it, man. You fucking did it. So as long as you're progressing, whatever else you're doing in life doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't have any effect, you know. But I got tired of it, and then I did a lot of shit, like, you know, whether it would be burning a bridge with your friends. Yeah, I'd beat up one of my friends or something. I didn't deserve it, you know, whatever. Like, why did I do that? And then you realize all the shit that you were doing that you wouldn't have done if you were sober. And then staying sober, it's over the years. I always play the, you know, in your head, like if you're on a long plane ride or something like that, you're sitting there thinking, you ever do the like kind of, what if I didn't, what if I did, what if I never left Jersey? Well, who the fuck would I be? What if I never left Florida?
All the time.
You know, what if I didn't take that stern advice from one of my sponsors you need to move to California, you know? What if I said, fuck you, I'm going to stay in Florida. I'm enjoying my little racket I got here in South Beach, you know? Like, you know, you think about it, and the only thing that I know for a fact on all of that, because anything could have happened. You don't know. You weren't there. You decided to do something else. I know for a fact that there is no fucking way that I would be the face of, you know, Vans would allow me to be the face of their brand if I drank at all. I would have fucked that opportunity up big time. I'm ready to talk business at 3 a.m. You know, I was a dude at, you know, everyone else is partying at the trade show parties, you know. I'm out front, and I've had conversations with, you know, heavy hitters in the industry where I'm 100% sober, and I could talk numbers, strategy, brand awareness, direction, which way you want to take this thing. And they're just like, what the fuck? You know, like, how does he know, you know, how is he this together? No matter what. Even the drunkest, most partying dude ever that owns a brand respects that, and I want that on my, you know, that dude's a killer, man. Like, he's got it together. He's got his shit together with no shame.
Right.
And that becomes more addicting. You know, being known as the dude at Vans, I'm known as the dude that'll get it done, you know, which sometimes can be a burden because they throw a lot of shit on me that isn't really my deal, but I'll take care of it because I'm addicted to that. Like, all right, G will get that. Oh, that's a job for G.
Yeah,
you know,
he's all
he'll
over it.
fucking handle that shit, man. That's more addicting than drinking.
Did you see your progression as soon as you stopped drinking too? Was
Yes.
it just see, that's the same thing with us when we got clean, especially this time around because I was a revolving door.
Yeah.
But it was the same thing, you know. I called the fork in the road, and it was like, am I going to keep going to jail and being this guy,
Yeah.
Or am I going to do something different,
Yeah.
And thank God I did, because I know that I would have been that guy or dead by now, for sure. So it's like...
That's all obvious stuff. Anybody that's sober is like, there's a good chance you would be dead by now.
Dustin was the
Or in
gnarliest
jail.
of us. He was fucking like IV drug user. Like, I'm a party animal. Like, you catch me at the bar ruining a fucking relationship.
Yeah.
Or staying out till 4 a.m. Dustin was fucking out there getting after it.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's fucking as successful and put together he is, if you put this motherfucker in a long sleeve shirt, well, never mind.
Kinda,
He's got
yeah.
his fucking hands
Yeah.
tattooed. Never
Well,
mind.
it's something that we all experience. I was just getting to the point where I was feeling like people were writing me off. Like, that's just G. He'll never be shit. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Wasted
that's just-
talent.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, he was over there being a fucking idiot again. Like,
Yeah,
idiot.
that whole thing again. Like,
I didn't
heard
like that.
so-
I didn't
heard
like that reputation at all.
Right.
I didn't like even I've always hated bullies. I can't fucking stand bullies.
Me too.
And I started to get known as the dude that would when you're drunk, you'll fight anybody.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like dude, that's not a good look when you're beating on somebody that you grab the lowest hanging fruit when you're drunk, and that disgusted me. Like, hearing stories like, dude, you know what the fuck you did? Why would you fuck that dude up? He's so nice to us when you did this.
You looked at me wrong, goddammit.
Yeah, and when you're sober, you're just like, I can't even tell you why I did it. You know why? Because I'm a fucking idiot, And I just knew, like, dude, if you just stayed sober, you would never do that. And I luckily that crossroads, kind of hit me, and I made the decision. I stuck with it. Before then, like before that, the actual crossroads, I probably had about maybe a dozen failures. Where like you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, I feel like fucking shit. I'm done drinking. And I'm like, I'm done. And you're like telling your friends, I'm fucking done.
Yeah.
And you fall off, you fail. It took that crossroads where like, okay, you're, 25 years old now. What kind of person are you going to be? You really want to go into your 30s, a pile of shit, And it just worked. And then there was no more failures, no more slip ups, no nothing. People ask me now, they're like, dude, you're so fucking militant. And you got it so together. It's been so long. I'm about to hit my 25th year of being sober. People are, like, don't you miss, like, what do you miss about it, if anything? And I'm like, what do I miss? Hot ass day in Florida, and a slice of pizza or a fucking deli sandwich. We got the real delis down there and stuff, New York style delis, and a beer. I miss that. And they're like, well, why don't you could do it. You're not going to risk all and everything you've built, your empire, for fucking, and I go, but why?
It's working.
It's the fucking point.
Right.
I'd rather do a Sprite and guarantee that I don't fuck my shit. Guarantee I don't get it. Yeah, there's a 99.9% chance that I can drink a beer right now, satisfy that craving, and move on with my day. Why though?
Yeah, it's like that's a
Fucking
gnarly
why?
risk.
I can't even fuck. I know without a shadow of a doubt if I fucking inhale a fucking beer.
Yeah.
It's like blood to a fucking shark, and I'll fucking light my
Goosebumps just doing that. Imagining one opening, that smell. Fuck yeah.
God.
Yeah.
I'll light my whole life on fire.
It never goes away. The craving never fucking goes away.
I don't think so.
Man.
For like in recovery speak, the phenomenon of craving, like I don't crave it like I did back when I was doing it, because it's like that. It fucking triggers something in my brain to where I fucking have to have it. But it's like you said, it's always in the back of your head. But how do you? This is what I don't get.
Real
How do
quick,
you smoke?
What I had to do is the obsession. You know what I mean? Because I would obsess about using.
Yeah.
So I had to, like, really, when I came into recovery, I had to learn how to get that out of my mind.
Yeah.
In order to not have those cravings and like urges, and I can be around places, not with drugs, but alcohol. You know what I mean? And it wouldn't fucking bother me. Luckily for me, I mean, I don't go to like a fucking opium den or something. You know what I mean? 'Cause that might be a different story. You know what I mean? I really
Not in
like
the trap
heroin.
house.
But I mean, alcohol was still, but that goddamn obsession would just fucking kill me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, I think that's really cool that you were able to be 25 years old and you had that much awareness to where you're like, you know what? I'm fucking done drinking.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I had to be forced into a fucking program to, clean up, basically. But I know a few people like you, too, that they can just do that. It's a fucking,
I was
really
maybe
amazing.
maybe 2 years from that, maybe a year from that, of being,
Yeah.
somebody was gonna I felt it coming.
Right.
People were getting tired of my shit.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
So now that, well, let me back up.
How do I
How do
smoke
you-
weed?
Yes. Oh my god, dude. I know you. I've heard Dustin talk about it, and it's the same for me. It's like crippling anxiety. Like, why did I do this to myself?
It's the worst drug I've ever done in my life.
Weed?
Dude.
Yes.
But all my friends
What
know.
strains are you guys smoking?
It doesn't matter. It don't matter.
It doesn't matter what it is.
Mexican
Hybrid.
seeds, whatever. I don't care. But fuck,
Yeah,
I'm,
brick weed.
I'm climbing
So-
up the fucking roof.
So growing up, you know, weed was a heavy culture in South Florida and all that. Everybody was doing it, and for me, it was an economic thing. 89 cents to get me feeling real good for a bottle of Old English. I mean, that was a beautiful thing, you know. And no matter how much you drink, you know, the fucking a nice fucking big tall OE is always you're gonna get the feeling.
Yeah.
You're gonna feel something. You know?
Oh yeah.
2 or 3 later, and now you're really fucking riding. You know? And you're into it for under $5.
Yeah.
You know?
Best bargain
back
ever.
then, a dime bag of dirt was $10. $10 was all the fucking money in the world back then.
Right.
True.
And it was like, and I would smoke, you know, when one was going around or whatever, you know, and I'd be like, I think I feel something. I don't know. It didn't really do a whole lot for me. I was like, I'm feeling a little giggly, fucking whatever, you know, like, but for $10, no, I would never spend that kind of money on a maybe. I'm gonna spend $3, and I'm gonna put my head to that fucking wall at the end of the night. You know what I mean? I'm gonna headbutt my friend's wall in his apartment. So it was honestly an economic thing. So weed was just useless to me. You know, I didn't get into weed until you start getting older, and now the trouble sleeping starts. I have extreme ADD. My mind doesn't shut off, these are all things that have helped me in business. I can fucking go 72 hours straight, no sleep, working. Legit money. No bullshit.
Billable
You know?
hours, baby.
Let's go. You know, I'm fucking down to get it done. Like, God, if I was a printer, holy, you guys could just go until it's over. Like,
Yeah.
hey man, fucking anybody got, what do we got to get done here? 50,000? Okay, I'll stand at that fucking machine until I die.
Right.
I've been
You
in the
can't-
print shop till 4 a.m. getting the order done.
That's my work ethic, you know. You have to mix some sleep in there, especially as you get older, because you will die.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was running into, you know, the anxiety of not being able to sleep, knowing I got big shit going on the next day. It never ends. And then also seeing some of my friends, like, you know, on an extreme level, like Chip, San Diego Customs.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know him off of weed, and you don't want to know him off weed. I know him off weed. It's fucking dangerous, dude.
Yeah?
You know? Yeah. He's weed literally makes him who he is, which is, you know, fucking crazy, talented, good businessman. The guy he doesn't come through. You know, like the dude is solid as can be and smokes all the weed in the world. It's the biggest so-called contradiction, what we've been brainwashed into thinking, like, oh, if you smoke weed, you're just some burnout that is an underachiever and don't get nothing
Right,
done.
right.
Yeah.
Chip is a fucking
Go-getter.
1,000% opposite of that. And you want him to wear like a gas mask with weed fucking pumped into him at all times. He needs it. It works for him. You know, I've seen it help people with cancer. Seen it make him comfortable. I've seen so much positive with it, and you know, doing the research. If you're friends with Chip, he's constantly spitting out facts of, you know, he's a weed advocate. You know,
We're supposed to have him on the podcast. So early on, before we started LFG, we used to go down to San Diego Customs, like, I think it was like the beginning of the
Just be
pandemic.
in awe.
Yeah, and just, oh my God, there he is. Like,
Yeah.
And everybody in that shop was nothing but fucking cool to us, and we would always hear the stories like, oh, their dicks down there. It's like, y'all must have been doing some weirdo shit, because
Yeah.
he answered all of my dumb fucking questions. He wasn't a dickhead, and he hooked me up with some stickers when I bought a shirt. Like, I have nothing negative to say about it, and I'm really excited.
He was
to
he was really high.
Turns out,
caught him at his
I
highest
called
moment.
him like post bong rip. You know, lucky me.
I mean, he's a salty old fucker, you know, either way, high or not.
Right.
But he's also, you know, I like it. It's like, shit, that's what I remember tattoo shops and motorcycle shops being like when I was a young kid going around to them, like Moreland Choppers 25 years ago, whatever. Like, Ken Moreland was a cranky motherfucker, but you appreciated it. If you asked one too many questions about a seat, that's enough questions for the day.
Right.
You know, move along.
Yeah,
You just walk in the
see
back.
you later.
whatever.
Yeah.
There we go.
You know, and I mean, now I love the guy. You know what I mean? Like, it's you appreciate that kind of you know, you got to earn it a little bit.
True.
You know, do your own fucking research. You know, which is something that these days is at an all-time low. You know, these guys that bitch about somebody being a little short with them. You know, on an answer for a question.
Don't be so sensitive.
You wouldn't have made it fucking 25 years, 30 years ago in this shit, man. Yeah, that old fucker behind the counter was brutal. You know? Right? God damn. But, yeah, I mean, so for me, it was like I tried indica, and it helped me sleep. And also there was something about it where I felt a little better in the morning when I woke up. My shoulders felt a little lighter. There was something about it, I just felt better. It was all positive. I didn't feel like, we're taught, a lot of that, don't forget, we were taught our whole lives up until just a few years ago when they said, okay, now weed's good, we can tax you 35% on a pre-roll. So now weed is good for you. That's what they say.
Yeah.
You know, it's fucking always been.
It's always been good for you.
Yeah. Real weed though, you know, not the dirt that
Yeah.
we fucking smoke.
Let's
It
say,
just,
but
it just
maybe
made us cough, and we got a headache.
Right,
and we
had
thought we were
major
high.
headache.
You know?
So I look back at the weed that I was smoking on the East Coast, like when I would get moderately blazed, is a lot different than the shit that I was getting when I first moved to California. It's been 10 years almost. Everything out here has just knocked my dick into the dirt.
Yeah, well, it's because it's real medical weed we're smoking.
35, 29,
So
27%.
you don't smoke a joint. You take some hits off a joint, and then you drop it back into the little canister it came from, let it go out, and then go to sleep. And then, you know, a joint, to this day, I purposely, like, I don't day smoke. I don't smoke to party. I don't even do the, like, you know, I know guys that, like, they don't smoke that much because they want to keep the tolerance the opposite of where Chip is at. Chip chain smokes weed like cigarettes as he's outside filming the Jerkers, and he's all fucked up
I
and crazy.
fucking
you
love
know?
that shit.
I mean, I've been watching one of my best friends lose his sanity a little bit, you know, over the course of 20 years, in a good way, though, you know.
True.
Because all that shit is fucking hilarious to me, man. I mean, Chip's fucking out there, dude. You know, like he's at war with straight guys going in and jerking off in a building. He's at war with them, you know. Fucking amazing.
Fucking weirdos.
Well, yeah, they installed a PA system, you know. Like,
Did they really?
yeah, so now they have like sirens where you know, if you're in there jerking off, you sound like they're getting raided, like a jerk off raid.
Ah,
And
yes.
they're like on the thing, like, unhand that penis, sir. Drop that cock. Like, what the fuck? Wow, dude,
That's
they
fucking
really
amazing,
are.
dude.
It blows me away. It hasn't escalated to just like a lot more violence out of there. You know, they've had some issues. They wound up, you know, I don't know if you know, they wound up getting raided. And they got, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Just the fucking the constant nonsense that San Diego Customs is cursed / blessed with, because people really enjoy watching it go down. It's been going on since the last shop, you know, like they were right by Skid Row there, so they were at war with all the professional vagrants, you know.
Yep.
And then they moved to this nice, fancy, big building that they bust their asses to make the overhead for and do their thing, and now they're really growing their businesses. You know, they're a lot more serious than maybe they would come across, you know, because of all the jerker vids and all that shit. He gets a party down there all the time. But it really gets on Chip's nerves when, you know, he's running his CNC machine, making pegs, and he looks on his security camera and there's a dude jerking off in his car in front of their shop.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Fuck all that.
And
No
he goes
fucking
out
way.
there and he's like,
That
look,
pissed
man,
me
what
off.
am I going to do? You know what I mean? What the fuck do I got to do?
Yeah.
I gotta
Go
pull you
someplace
out-
else, you fucking asshole.
Exactly.
God
man.
fucking
Is he
damn
from
it.
Philly?
He's from Philly.
Yeah. Bro, he'd be lucky he's not getting a bat through the fucking windshield.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And there's sometimes some shit's got to happen, you know.
Allegedly.
And yeah. So
They started right by where Evans is.
Really?
Their first shop. So my house that I rented.
Ghetto?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Off Imperial.
Yep.
So he was off Commercial, I think.
Yes.
It's a green building.
Yep. So, yeah, that's where Foundation and Toy Machine and you know, all the skate
Really?
brands are out of, local skate brands. Yeah, the owner Todd Swank had a little bit of empty space and knew Chip from skateboarding. Chip's a known skateboarder, you know.
Really?
Yeah, he used to rip. Same with Mikey too. He's good. They're both definitely good skateboarders. You know?
No shit.
Yeah. So, you know, Todd knew Chip from skateboarding and Mikey, and then there's another guy, Barker, that's a friend of theirs that kind of worked that deal where he's like, hey, I got a little extra space here that's the size of like a 2-car garage.
Right.
I'll rent it to you if you want to get out of your garage. Because Chip was in his garage for a couple of years that, I mean, when the whole Dyna thing took off, the Black Dyna thing took off, he was doing it out of his garage, and it was way out of hand. He lived in an HOA community. Like, he was getting shit from his neighbors. Wow. It was all bikes up and down the fucking street. Like, you're not going to. So he knew he had to take this shit to the hood.
Right.
And then when he first moved down there, it wasn't that bad. And then that bridge became an actual Skid Row.
Yeah.
And it was on after that. They're shitting on his walls, and, you know, he looks in the security camera, and there's a lady shitting down his wall.
Right. It's a fucking, even now it's even that gnarlier. Right before we left.
It's gotten worse since they left because
horrible.
they used to regulate pretty hard over there.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And Dice one, he's over at that, like right next to the Walmart. His shop, where we took our first photos, that's Dice One Clothing's fucking building
Yeah.
there.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Like, God, he's fucking right where he wants to be, but fuck, it's active over there.
Yeah, it's bad over there, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just a
Tribal,
it's,
same shit. And
It's
slappies.
annoying. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny to a point, but then it's like, yo, man, my friends pay $8,000 a month rent here.
Yeah.
Stop jerking off in front of the door. Go fuck yourself. Go in a bush somewhere.
Go to your house.
Yeah.
Your fucking bathroom.
Yeah, it's and just the creep factor of all those dudes, man. Because a lot of those guys, like, you know, those aren't like just random gay dudes. Those are straight dudes that have wife and kids at home that are like going and jerking off with dudes at the thing. Like, listen, I don't judge anybody, man. Like, pursue the happiness. Do what you want to do. It's not my fucking business. But when you do it in front of my door,
Yeah.
you know, when my friend might be in there with his kids, you know, like, now we got a problem.
Yeah.
Now we're going to have a fucking problem.
Yeah, how about this? Get a fucking iPhone. You could get porn right on your fucking iPhone, dude.
Millions
Like,
and millions of
like,
videos.
what are you doing, man?
For
It's
free.
It's a very strange culture that they got going on over there, but it's not for me to understand. But just don't bring it into my fucking world, man. You know,
Won't be good.
and especially don't bring it into Chip's world.
Hey, thank God for marijuana. You know?
You wind up. I always wonder too, like, man, he's got I don't know how many followers, but you know he's up in that celebrity status area, and it's like somebody's uncle or father or grandfather has been on his, you know, someone that rides or whatever. And it's like, oh fuck, that's my Uncle Jim there going in there to jerk off.
Uncle Jim, what the fuck?
Are you doing, man? Like, you don't know how many guys he's exposed because everyone who walks in there, they get a nickname.
Oh,
You know?
fuck.
Yeah, like athletic jerker. Or
Yeah,
fucking
right.
whatever. Yeah, he had that one dude that. One of my favorite ones was that there's an old guy going in there. Like, what the fuck's he gonna do? He's like hobbling in there. And he walks in, and Chip kind of does he redubs his voice, you know, and he does it like, "Hey guys, I don't come anymore. I just shoot dust." It's fucking amazing. And that's Chip's day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, build one of the baddest baggers that ever hit the street, and then
Right.
make fun of jerkers. You know,
Sounds like a pretty cool life.
get really high.
I can only hope. Well, I don't hope that we have a fucking Jack Shack across the street from a shop if we ever get one.
Oh God.
God, that would not be good.
It's like I said, it's the blessing curse because the amount of laughter that we've gotten out of that place, like overall, not Chip at Chip's expense. Chip doesn't think it's funny at all. He's the one cutting the check. You know,
Yeah.
He's the one that's just bewildered of like, why is this happening? What the fuck is wrong with this world? You know, he's already out there. That thing's sending him that building sent him for a loop. You know,
Really?
What the fuck is going on in this world?
That was already there before they moved
Yeah,
in. though, right?
it's an old legendary.
Yeah,
staple.
I was about to say, yeah.
Yeah, I see this being a 20-minute segment when he comes on the
I
show.
know, but Chip's-
Or he'll be like, I don't want to fucking talk about it.
We got a friend. Obviously, I'll leave his name out, but he's an old fucking old gangster out of Barrio Logan, you know. And when we first moved over there, you know, he came over. He's like, "Oh yeah, that's cool, man." We're like, "Yeah, but we're trying to figure out what the fuck's going on with this shop. There's some weird shit going on there. A lot of guys going in and out of there, and they're leaving without bags because it's disguised as like a sex shop.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
But everybody goes shopping, but they don't buy anything, you know. So no one ever leaves with a bag. and he's like, "Oh no, Holmes, like, oh man, there's people people go and jerk off in there all the time. I used to jerk off in there in the 80s and shit." You know? We were just like, what the fuck? That's how gangster he was. He said it. He didn't say it to be funny, you know.
Dead ass
He's just
serious.
like, "No, Holmes, that's where people go to jerk off."
Oh, you didn't know?
Dude, everybody in the room laughed except for Chip. It was just like, I just
Go.
moved away to get away from this fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Chip wants peace in his life more than anybody, you know, and he can't get it.
Wow.
Can't get it.
Hey, I got a funny story for that. So I used to do pest control, first job ever. F Street in El Cajon. That was part of the route.
Yeah.
So I would go there early in the morning because that's when the best time to go. And I saw all of that shit. So F Street, you know, they have fucking toys and all this, but the back area was the fucking Jack Shack. And I had to go back there and put fucking roach traps and shit.
Oh, no.
And there would be fucking like dudes coming out the fucking door and shit. I'm like, what? I'm like 18 years old. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? It's like
Yeah.
4 in the fucking morning. Same thing. Business guys, like, you know,
Yeah, dude.
going in there to go fucking jerk off and then bounce. What the fuck? I mean, at that time I was just thinking, I'm like, well, these guys are married and they're gay. You know what I mean? They're watching gay porn.
Yeah.
They can't do it at home. Like,
Yeah.
that was where my mind was going.
Is that what they're watching?
I mean, I'm assuming.
All right, fuck. I mean,
I don't know.
People are just fucking
But it was
weird. And
bizarre.
people wonder why I hang out with dogs. The human race is so fucking dark.
scumbags everywhere.
Fucking
Nitwits
low
everywhere.
lives, dude.
Yeah.
Just how fucking
Screaming on corners and shit.
dude, how fucking greasy do you gotta be to go and do some shit like that? You're married, your wife and kids are at home. Like, where's that guy? Fucking jerking some dude off.
Just
God,
jacking
damn,
off Steve
man.
at the old fucking Jack Shack.
Yeah,
Fucking horrible.
I really do. You know, I take a lot of pride in being like, don't judge nobody, man. Not everybody's like you. We're all different, you know. But there is a line that has to get drawn sometimes. Where I'm like, all right, well now I'm just baffled.
Yeah.
I'm out on
What the fuck
this.
are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
You know. God damn.
So how'd you get into Harleys? And do you
That's-
have an FXR?
Do I have an FXR?
I see you have the FXR
Yeah,
division
yes,
hat.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I escaped the FXR syndrome, you know, the sickness. That was my first bike, and then I've had them, you know, diced in between Dynas and choppers and baggers. But once I got a Road Glide, I knew that's it for me, man. That's it. That's the supreme bike. For me anyway, you know, I can't see me on anything else. Some of my friends are having a lot of fun on those new lowrider STs, you know, and they're claiming those, but I don't know, man. It's the Road Glide, it's the boss man bike.
I was gonna say, if you can't afford a Road Glide, you get an ST. And I don't own one because I can't afford it. I can afford my 09 Dyna Street Bob.
Yeah.
Clapped.
Clap, baby.
So the
faithful.
FXR division thing is I'm just I'm family with Big Chris, the dude who owns it.
They put out good parts.
Yeah, they're super good dudes. I mean, shit, man. I support it regardless. And then I also I have a handlebar out with them, like a handlebar I designed strictly for Road Glides.
Oh shit.
Because I feel that, you know, I'm 6'1" and I got a long ass reach, so I don't really need the pullback, but I appreciated it. So I and then I figure anybody shorter than me on a Road Glide with T-bars, they're gonna be stretched. They're gonna look like they're borrowing their dad's bike, you know, a little kid on a man's bike.
Yeah.
So I got a bar that they've had out for probably like 6-7 years now, and it's through FXR division. So, you know, I promote that and anything to help them and kind of further their reach is starting to get outside of FXRs. You know, they focus heavily on FXRs, but they're making parts for backers now, and they're also Big Chris, surprisingly, is one of those dudes that he's preaching the lowrider ST. He loves it.
Really?
And Big Chris is like 6'3", you know, fucking, I don't know how
They
fat
call
he
him
is now.
Big Chris.
Yeah.
He's a big boy, and he claims that bike hard. He's the one that originally made me give it a second look because he's heavy in the Road Glides too. He's a big boy, you know. But yeah, I fought that off. Fuck that. You know, I took his bike for a ride, and I was like, this just feels like a rickety road glide. You know, like
Right.
And no cruise control.
no cruise control, and I'm super into the music.
Yeah.
You know, everything about it. I feel a road glide with me on it. It's almost like I felt like I sat on a bike and Harley tailored it around me.
Wow.
From how tall I am and everything about the bike, it feels absolutely perfect. That's why I get so paranoid. I'm like, don't change a fucking thing. But they will, and that'll be fine. You know, everybody freaks out when Harley changes something, like the end of their world. Hey, there's 90,000 used road glides out there for you to go buy for the rest of your life.
Right.
You don't have to go buy a new bike if you hate it that much.
It's true.
And then the other thing is where it's like, finally, even the most diehard Dyna guys are realizing that a Lowrider ST is a much better, you know.
It's a better platform.
Yes, man.
The Milwaukee 8 is a solid fucking motor.
Yeah.
As much as like it, you got to do some things to it, but it's come a long way from the
Oh,
twin cam.
shit, man.
You know what I mean? And here's another thing: if you don't like, if you want to make a suggestion to Harley and you want to make sure they don't do it, tell them what you want them to do, and they'll make sure they don't fucking do that for you. That's how the motor company works. They're like, oh, hey, you want this? Cool. Definitely not doing that.
They're lucky they got us, man. We got that blind loyalty.
I know.
I feel like the page. I keep saying this. That it's time to turn the page to the next generation of Harley owners. I feel like the page is getting lifted, and it's slowly getting turned over to where we're not catering to people that are buying tri-glides as much as we are to the guys that are getting their first fucking Softail Standard or their first Street Bob or their first fucking Sportster for that matter.
Yeah.
But I definitely, and another thing, I don't think they should have gotten rid of the fucking iron line. But everyone says the Sportster S, that Revolution motor, pretty fucking solid. The Pan America's fun to ride. I haven't rode a Sportster S yet. I probably should if I'm going to talk about it.
I refuse to ride a Pan America. I don't need another hobby.
True.
Joey,
I
Joey
don't-
was having fun on that. thing this
Yeah,
weekend.
I saw that. I mean, of course, he's out there beating the living shit out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Josh.
Allegedly.
He may or may not have
I mean,
rode
Josh,
it.
I can't even say. But anyways, I rode a street glide for the first time. For having cruise control, it was like a whole new experience. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't have my right hand on the handlebars. You know what I mean? I'm like,
I mean, I use my throttle lock on my dyno.
no. I don't.
It's not the same, but it's kind of the same until you're panicking. You're about to rear end a fucking Chevy Cruze.
Yeah.
It was nice. God, it was good.
What was the last big ride you went on?
Oh, Jesus. Probably, I mean, that was a couple of years ago. Probably Four Corners.
I really want to. If we could fucking do that, it's September 1st and 2nd. If we can fucking pull that off, that'd be sick.
I mean, the ride to there is okay. If you get cut through the middle of Arizona, you know, like you take the long way through Payson, Strawberry, Winslow, all that, incredible. Then you're gonna ride some real shitty, like 500-600 miles of garbage, just a
Like
dirty,
on the
dirty
trip to
field.
Vegas. Yeah.
Yeah. But then once you get to the trick is to get to Four Corners, then ride. You got $1 Million Highway, you got all that stuff. Like Colorado's beautiful, man. It's like riding through a fucking painting. Like, how does this still exist in this world?
Wow.
It's beautiful. So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed that ride, that run. It's one of those things where, you know, you look at guys like that are the dudes that are out there now, Roji and those guys. That I mean, they're
Papa
all
Juan. Shout out.
yeah. I mean, a bunch of retired, lucky bastards. But it's not even luck. They earned that. They earned that in their life. They structured their lives to where, like, yo, I can go take off on a motorcycle for
17
and that's
days.
all it is. And they got the ability. You know, they got the balls to do it. They got the money. They got the equipment.
I know. Watching their stories, man, they're fucking.
They're taking a beating out
Yeah,
there.
They're getting their shit kicked out of
his
them.
ass kicked. He has some new wheels and shit, but hey.
I've never seen Roji not smiling. And it's
Right.
like, there's been a few days where his stories, he's just like, we're in Vermont. I'm going to bed. I don't like it.
Yeah, totally.
I know for sure we're gonna have Papa Juan back on to talk about the ride, but I'd love to have fucking Roji on or
He doesn't. He doesn't.
He
do
won't do-
podcasts.
he won't do podcasts.
Yeah, he's already.
Oh,
he's
really?
already told me.
You would
I hit him up.
think he wouldn't shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he says, I don't do them.
You think he'd have his own podcast, you know?
Yeah.
Now he doesn't. He's not into it, man.
Maybe we'll
He's
get the goo. We'll get Jerry on.
yeah, you can throw Jerry on there. Yeah.
I tried.
He's a solid ass
I
dude.
tried to get him twice. I'm like, come on, you have such great stories. Come on.
I mean, the thing about those dudes, they ride. You can't take that away from them. Man.
Right.
Like those dudes fucking ride. I couldn't do that ride at that point. You know, like I don't. All those years of skateboarding, like I'm good for Sturgis and back. You know, I'm not going
That's
to
a good
fucking.
one.
I'm not gonna go right to the Keys and shoot up to Maine, and then blast through all the.
Yeah.
You know what's funny too is they're all staying the shitty hotel thing too. How they're all complaining about that.
Such
I
old
guess-
dudes.
Yeah, man, they're bummed on those. And it's funny that's the entertainment.
It
You know what I
is.
mean? I'm entertained by your shitty hotel
I
room.
know. It's so fucking funny.
We've all seen the scenery a million times, dude. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
show me like bloodstained walls that you're sleeping next to.
Show me the crack
I'm
pipe
like-
burns on the bathtub.
yeah,
That's
right.
what I want to see.
Dude, I'm laughing my ass off, and the fact that Rosie's responsible for that. Like he booked that, he just wasn't paying attention. Yeah, it's a great place, got great reviews. Just fucking booked
Oh
it.
shit! Hey, sounds good to me, guys. Hey, got it.
$83 booked.
They stayed in Gallup, New Mexico, which is, I know Gallup.
I know
from
Gallup, too.
I know Gallup from going from Arizona to Colorado for anything, work related, whatever. Friends in Colorado, like I've done it. In Gallup, you don't even stop for gas there. You stop for gas on the border of Arizona and New
Right.
Mexico.
Is it
Don't
near
stop in
Snowflake?
Gallup.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. His mom lives
My
in
mom lives
Snowflake.
in Snowflake, so I know those like Payson. That's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Fucking rad
Yeah,
place.
but then you hit the freeway,
Yeah,
and then you
it's
cross the border, and it goes to shit.
Yeah, Gallup is
real
fucking
quick,
hood, hood, dude.
The fact that they even stayed there, it's like, I thought you guys were educated travelers on any fucking level. Is this
right.
your first trip? They ride more than anybody.
Right.
But they stayed in Gallup, fucking New Mexico, and they had the balls to be shocked and bitch about it. Boy, really staying in a shithole here in Gallup, Like, what the fuck did you think was going to happen? You're lucky you survived it, man.
I know.
I was genuinely worried about those dudes. You know what I mean? Like, they're gonna get touched.
Something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I haven't been through New Mexico. I've traveled literally on the great. When I came to California, I took a 2.5 day bus ride from fucking Norfolk all the way to fucking Phoenix, and New Mexico was the prettiest because all their overpasses were painted. I was like, this is fucking rad. I've never seen the desert outside of training, and like, I was like, this is fucking pretty cool. The sun was rising. It was
Yeah.
red, but what I hear is fucking everything in New Mexico kind of sucks.
Santa Fe is okay if you're like with a chick, kind of romantic little spot, Other than that, it's a fucking shart hole, man. No love.
They got a fuck ton of national parks. I was gonna do a bachelor ride all the way out there. Instead, we went to Arizona Bike Week, which was fucking rad. But they got like 5 that are right outside of Albuquerque that look rad as fuck. But everyone's like, yeah, that's about all there is. You like cruise through there and then get the fuck out, get to Texas.
Get stabbed.
It's not. No, fuck that, man.
Yeah, I love Texas though. Like I travel every weekend and I've gotten to see a fuck ton of cities, and Dallas is fucking rad. Shout out to Jace again. I could shout that dude out 1,000 times. The reason we have this set up is because of fucking Jace.
Yeah.
Like
That's all I got.
I hit him up and he gave me the fucking keys to the kingdom on it, and now we have this fucking baller ass setup.
He's the podcast master.
He
Yeah,
is.
he's good.
I think he does the best job at it. He knows what he's doing, and yeah, I mean I've done 2 of them so far, and it's enjoyable. He's a good dude, man. He's well versed on life. So
He's lived it.
yeah.
Hey, talk to me about the Humane Society stuff, because I know we talked about it off air, but I mean the things that you do with that community in itself is pretty amazing. Like I was saying before, my mom worked for the Humane Society. Like she did, what was it? Like animal rescue. So when there was like fires, I remember as a kid,
Yeah.
like we would go to these fires and like rescue animals
Yeah.
and shit.
People have asked why I picked the Humane Society. I do it because they're no kill. I won't work with a shelter that they do those stupid fucking posts where they're like, oh yeah, this dog's got 8 hours to live, like that kind of shit. Or we're gonna euthanize it. It's almost like they're looking forward to it. Scumbags. Like,
Right.
That's weird. So, apply for the grants that, oh, we're not as big as Humane Society. We don't have their budget. Well, go get the budget or get the fuck out of the business. Let Humane Society take those dogs, I just love the no-kill thing. A dog can show up that, just got hit by a car, and it's another shelter would just euthanize. Now, dude, they'll remove limbs. They'll do whatever they got to do to bring that dog back. They'll fucking, give it prosthetics. Like,
Wow,
Humane
that's
Society
amazing.
truly cares about the dogs, so that's why I've chosen them and exclusively work with them. I'm sure there are other shelters out there. I just haven't found them yet. I have kind of my partners over there, people that have that work there that know what I do and they support it. So they help me, do my thing with sponsoring the dog, paying for the, all the fees. and then finding it. All I ask is, like, I'll take care of everything. Please don't adopt one of my dogs unless you're insane like me, and will spoil that dog every day of its life.
Right.
You know, this isn't just a little trend or a little like phase you're going through. We're like, oh, I saw a cute pit bull, now I want one. I have to have one. You know, like people are doing with Frenchies right now.
Right.
Yeah,
You know?
huge.
And then they're tired of the fucking dog when their life changes or whatever. Look, when you take on one of these dogs, you know, these pitties, like, they love so hard, you shatter their hearts when you fucking give them back to a shelter or something like that. Like,
Right.
don't do it unless you're as committed to that dog as you would be your child, you know. I hate all the rehoming shit and all that. People hit me up like, hey, I gotta rehome my dog. I gotta go to a new apartment that doesn't accept. Like,
Right.
don't go to that fucking place. Figure it out. People are a lot more resourceful than they give themselves credit for, and they just give up.
Right.
I hate those kind of people.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, those aren't the kind of people I want to help, and they're not the kind of people I want to know and be friends with. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so these dogs, like, for me, they're the most misunderstood. They're one of the most misunderstood beings on the planet. You know, we all know what it's like to be misunderstood,
Yeah.
judged, whatever. You know,
Fuck yeah.
so, you know, whatever, however many times that we've been judged for our past or something somebody else did that, you know, whatever, times it by a million, and that's what these
Yeah.
dogs face, you know. They're constantly adopted by fake tough guys, you know, that want their dogs to be an extension of their hands,
Right.
you know. Like,
That they
I'm gonna be the
last,
guy
yeah.
I'm the guy that walks around at the event with the scary dog, you know.
Yeah.
Like, that makes you a fucking kook, dude. You know, straight up. If you walk around and you got your dog's being aggressive and you're a fucking kook. You're not gaining anybody's respect. We see right through you. Bring the snuggle bug to the fucking event. And trust me, then the girls like it. It works out better for you, man.
Yeah.
Make your dog, and that's what, and you see what these dogs, like, they're so loyal to you, they'll be whatever you want. You know, if I want to turn Blue into an asshole, in 30 days, I can have a whole different dog, you know. But, no, I make him feel safe. I'll protect him. I don't need him to fucking protect me. You shitting me? Like, he's all about the snuggles. You feel better at the end of the day. You know, you got your dog. He's always with you. The unconditional love. Give me all that. That's what the pits are the best at. You know, if you need a dog to protect you at this fucking day and age, just go die.
Yeah.
Fucking pussy.
Yeah.
I hate that shit. I hate that image of pit bulls. It's obvious. Like, look at Blue's back legs. Like, he can jump over a 6-foot fence without even trying. You know,
Right.
It's obvious. We get it. You got a tough dog. Look at him. He's got muscles in his head.
Yeah.
You know, like, I find all that shit hilarious.
Yeah.
You know, but at the end of the day, he's my little spoon in bed.
Right.
You know? That's the real shit. You know, when you talk to a real pit bull owner too, like these dogs, they make your life better. And if you rescue one, I guarantee you this. I only make one promise, you know, and all this. Like, whatever you do for that dog, it's going to give back to you at times 1,000. You know, I didn't rescue Blue. He rescued me. He gave me more of a purpose. You know how many times I don't jump out of my car and sock somebody at a light because I can't get arrested. And what, I'm going to go away for a couple of years with some dumb shit and
What's gonna happen to my dog?
fuck that.
Yeah.
Right.
Fuck that. Yeah, man. It's they keep you centered. They keep you grounded. They put a smile on your face. This idiot makes me laugh all the time. He's still, you know, he'll walk through. Can't tell you how many screen doors I've had to pay for because he just decides to walk right through the goddamn thing.
It's worth it.
They're all. It's worth it so much, man. They really are the best. I recommend them for. I've had guys adopt pit bulls for their grandmothers that recently they're widowed. They're lonely.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, she ain't gonna be lonely much longer because the dogs are so needy, you know.
Right.
And then, you know, I get footage sent to me of grandma petting the dog that was in the shelter 10 days ago, foaming, pissed,
Right.
hating people, super angry. Now he found his person,
Right.
and they're gonna ride out. They're gonna ride off into the sunset together.
Right.
You know, is there anything more beautiful than that,
No.
man? That's it. That's where it ends for
And
me.
ain't nobody fucking with that grandma too.
Exactly. Yeah. You have to be
Yeah.
careful. You do have to be careful with these dogs because of their loyalty.
Yeah.
They will do damage by accident. You know,
Right. Inherent nature.
yes,
Yeah.
they protect fiercely. Blue is a fucking psycho. Jesus Christ.
How long
And
do you
I-
have Blue?
We're going on. I've had him. He's going on 4 years old now. I've had him for 3.
Okay.
So I got him. He was 1. At 1, they're almost like full grown. So he was dangerous. He hated men, hated other dogs. It was a hard 6 months, man. I had to be patient. Luckily, at that time period, I was able to get through it. You know, he almost killed my ex's dog. That sucked really bad. That destroyed me because her dog is one of the. There's many reasons why I've become obsessed with pit bulls over the course of my life. Her dog was one of the ones that made me like, oh, and then he almost killed her.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was horrible. He bit one of my friends really bad. Luckily, he's a pit bull lover as well. So fortunate. All the damage he did, it was like it was forgivable, you know. But I was sitting there like, oh god damn it, man! Like, I'd sit there and talk to him and be like, I can't do this with you, dude. You're gonna cost me my house.
Yeah, right.
You know, you're gonna what the fuck. Please get it together for me. I love you more than anything.
Tighten
but
up,
you
bro.
can't do this. And then it was like one day it was like a light switch, and he's a soldier now, man.
Wow.
Just hangs out, waits for his next order. And I mean, look, I told you.
I know, he hasn't
He's
moved.
sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, hasn't moved. He's just happy to be. He's obsessed with people, big time.
That's awesome. Fuck yeah.
That's fucking wild. Yeah, when he first got in here, he was just out here sniffing around. It was like running a quick inspection, making sure it's
Yeah,
good
yeah, yeah.
for
Yeah.
big homie.
Yeah,
It's good for big homie. Okay, I can relax.
We're cool. Hey,
And
we're
then-
cool, Dad. Chill out.
And he was cool, you guys. He's all, yeah, it's cool. And then the girls knocked on the door.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And then you saw who he really is.
Yeah.
Oh
Hi,
hey,
how
hi.
you doing?
Yes, I'm Blue. I'm here.
And then you just saw the girls melted.
Yeah.
You know, and then that was it. He's like, that's who he is. That's what pit bulls are.
Right.
You know, they're just beautiful creatures, the purest soul on the planet. You know, they live for love, and that's my message. I mean, that's what I'll never believe. You know, when I got him, I was like, now my life's really gonna change because now I'm going from being able to walk in the streets just being me. You know, I'm not a thug. I'm not a bully. I'm not a fucking dude looking for trouble. You know, I'm just going about my day, man. Just smile on my face, showing respect to everybody. Now I'm inheriting an issue. There's going to be times I might have to fight for him. You know, I thought it was going to be, oh, who's the asshole with the pit bull, whatever. That's rare. It maybe once a year.
Really?
I've had to check somebody.
Wow.
You know, it's very rare. People have a lot more love for pits. Or I'm seeing it as the years go by. It's getting better and better. Yeah, mostly he's, you know, I walk into the dealer with him. It's like walking in with a fucking celebrity or a boy band. The girls scream and run towards him.
Yeah,
man.
totally.
But I was prepared for that because I love them so much. I'm like, well, if I gotta have a debate in the street every once in a while, so be it.
Yeah, sure.
You know, let's see how this goes, and that's been very surprising to me. People's manners. Unbelievable. Like straight up like, hey, excuse me, can I pet your dog? And then there's a thank you afterwards, and that's all walks of life.
Right.
You know, I'm not used to that. I'm used to without him, people are kind of rude. You know,
Yeah.
With him, it's like, can I pet your dog? And then people tell me like, thank you so much for that. I really needed that today.
Wow.
And they got their fix.
That's
They
awesome.
walked
That's
away.
true.
I'm like, I'm glad whatever's on your mind right now. I'm glad you walked away. Like,
Yeah.
and their love that they're giving him transfers right to me. Transfers right to me. They might as well be going, hey, DDG, what's going on? Scratch my back real quick, you know?
Yeah.
Any love he gets, anytime I see him happy, I'm automatically happy.
I gotta work on this because I got issues from being bit by 3 dogs, 3 pit bulls.
Well, if you've been bit by 3 pit bulls and you still have all your limbs, that's mind blowing.
Yeah.
They must have been very domesticated.
They just
pit bulls.
nipped out.
They were like, so 2 of them were fucking. One was I was walking home and I got bit in the ass. The other one I got fucking bit in the leg.
They were probably playing.
Yeah. Right.
Probably, but boy did it fuck me up.
Yeah.
But I gotta work through it because I got I got a kid coming in 6 weeks, and then my lady has 2 kids. I have 2 kids. We got the fucking Brady Bunch, and
Yeah.
they're gonna want a dog.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And
eventually.
my whole rule has been, we need to get a house. I will not have a small dog. We will have a big dog, and I think it's cruel to put a big dog in a small house.
Yeah.
So my rule is we got to get a house, and eventually I'm gonna have a house, and then I'm gonna out of fucking excuses.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get them some.
You just have, when you train him, you know, I train him. It sucks because you have to be
Attentive to it.
Yeah,
You got to
consistent.
stick with it. Consistency is everything.
Yeah.
If he slips, I check him on it hard. You know.
Hold on, real quick, Josh. Do me a super solid. They just turned out the lights in here. Can you run out and make sure they don't fuck us and lock us in here?
Thanks.
Just put us on center view.
Yeah,
Appreciate
all right.
it.
I know, huh? That would fuck. We would have to call Josh. Hey, Josh, do you mind?
By the way,
Yeah.
he had to go see his boys. He's taking them to the movies. He wanted me to let you
Yeah,
know
it
that
was-
he's sorry he couldn't make it tonight, but he had to go see the boys.
Oh, rad. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he is going to catch up with you. He said he'd give you a jingle tomorrow.
Awesome.
When you
Love
say
it.
your dogs, being that you work with the Humane Society, do you have, I don't want to say a litter of dogs, but are you just resourceful in who you can point people in the right directions to adopt?
Yeah, what I do is I find a dog that kind of grabs me. You know, whether I found homes for blind, I love finding homes for blind dogs.
Very cool.
One of the guys, he used to work at Builtwell, but yeah, him and his wife grabbed a dog, and you know, it's usually I really try, and hopefully it's a skateboarder or a motorcycle dude or surfer or somebody that I know, local low-sider. Like I really market towards my friends or at least my followers on Instagram, you know,
Right.
because then I get to enjoy the stories. I get to watch. Social media for me is something completely different than it is for everybody else. I love scrolling the stories because I see it's all people I follow. If you adopt a dog from me, I'm going to follow you because I want to watch the
growth.
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, the blind dog, like when he goes for walks, they put a raincoat on him if it's raining, an actual little raincoat.
Right.
I'm like, okay, well, that just made my fucking whole week.
Yeah.
Hilarious, you
Right.
know, like, nothing to me is more funny and fun to watch than dogs being insanely spoiled. I love it, man. I fucking love it. So now my Instagram feed is at least 60, 70% ridiculous dogs being spoiled, being fussed over,
Right.
being the center of attention. And I'll always remember the first time I saw that dog. And it's the blind dog was barking at a wall, like viciously. Didn't know where it was at. It was blind. It's scared shitless. What the fuck is going on? Now it's living the best life. They have no concept of reality, man.
Right.
They're just like, oh, well, this got really good. You know? You know, the promise I made Blue when I got him was like, hey, listen, man, I'll spare you guys like all the details, but like one of them that really sticks with me and bothers me is like they had him in a chain. They keep him they had him in a chain link, just a chain link fence cage, which was too small for him to stand up in. So he had no hair on the top of his head. So I was gonna initially name him Larry when I got him because he got a bald spot.
Right.
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Larry David, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, yeah, cool. I'll adopt the little freak show. You know what I mean? He'll never have hair, and we'll just make fun of it, and it'll be whatever. He ended up turning into this little supermodel, you know.
Right.
But you know, they had him in there, and then he would like obviously piss and shit, and then just roll in it all day. They never let him out. And the guy would come home, and you know, because someone that lived in the apartments, I could see it in the backyard. That's how I know the story, the details. He would spray him with a power washer.
Oh my God.
So from the power
That's
washer,
fucked up.
it makes, you know, the dog, he had bald spots on him from getting hit with a fucking power washer. It blew the hair right off of him. So, you know, at that level of abuse and torture and torment, you know, I never forget that visual that I have in my head of what that is the first time I seen him, you know. And, you know, and then you think about it, that pops into my head sometimes when I think about when the two girls came in here and just gave him insane love, and he hugged both of them and gave them love. And that was my commitment to him when I got him in the truck. I said, hey, dude, at that point, he wasn't my dog yet. I was going to find him a home because that's what I do. I don't foster.
Right.
I don't have time for all that, you know. But they couldn't accept him at the shelter. They were full. And the guy couldn't. We had nowhere to keep him. So I took him. And I was like, all right, dude, I'm making a promise to you right now. Everything you know, forget it.
Yeah.
It never happened. We're going to go from one extreme to the other. You're going to get so much love, you're not even going to know how to handle it, you know. And that's what it was. Like from that moment on, I won't allow him to experience. I don't let him out of my sight. Like when I have to leave him behind, he stays with a family that's family with me. That's his other family. He loves pulling up there and going. There's no more cages, no more kennels, nothing that could trigger that memory of that. He's only allowed to experience love, you know. And thank God nobody's been mean to him in front of me. So I don't have a fucking case.
I'm still here.
All day long, he gets love from. We go to the bank together. The girls in the bank. I don't even know how they're allowed to do this, but they come from around those windows and they roll around on the floor with them. That scene that you guys saw, that happens to him dozens of times a day, all day, every day. He sits in all the Vans meetings with me. You know, the shops I deal with.
Yeah.
I deal with all the highest end, top of the pyramid shops. You know, from the Supremes to the Cowtowns to the top
Palace.
shops. You would think some of those guys might be too cool for a dog. If God forbid, if I show up at a meeting without him, they'll cancel the fucking meeting on me and be like, "Yeah, no Blue, no business, bro." You know, like, they're obsessed with him.
That's
Yo, is
fucking
Cowtown the
awesome.
shop out in Phoenix?
Cowtown's the shop in the world.
Really?
Yeah, they're the top of the pyramid for pretty much any skate brand, from any hard good brand to Nike to Vans. They're the most respected because they've earned it. They're all skater owned, legendary. Everyone that works there is a goddamn legend on the board. They're relentless with events. They're relentless with the give backs. They're
Love to see it.
everybody watches. Everybody wants to be Cowtown when they grow up. You know.
Oh, I take my kids to the skate park out in Phoenix, and everybody's rocking a Cowtown blank.
Yeah.
That's like, I'm like, okay, I gotta make my way to this shop eventually. I just never fucking find time to.
Well, and then there's also what's crazy is the skate scene, and that's the number one territory for any skateboard brand is the Valley. You know,
Valley of the
Phoenix,
Sun.
Tempe, Scottsdale, because there's endless skate spots and skate parks, no pads. It's the Wild West out there.
It
you know?
is.
So there's also legendary skate shops like Sidewalk Surfer, Freedom Board Shop. Business-wise, like pound for pound, as far as like coolness and what's going on in skateboarding and what's happening, Phoenix destroys Southern California.
Really?
The only reason why the scene is big out here is because the whole industry is out here.
Yeah.
For some odd reason, if I was, well, Dogtown would be a bad example. Dogtown has to be out of Venice. They're the Venice brand, but you know, every skate brand or they should move to Arizona. It's still a little bit cheaper than California, better scene, better living situation. Your employees would be more stoked. Get the fuck out of here, man. Like,
It's only 120 for 2 months.
yeah,
Just 2 months.
3.
And skateboarders, they travel.
That's
Going
true.
that, you know,
Sky Harbor's a decent airport.
they'll break out. They'll come to California or whatever. You know, skaters are very resourceful on.
But out of your
getting out of-
hometown, I love, or not hometown, but your home. I love fucking Grandeur. I love that fucking shop.
Yeah. Once again, great.
Great culture.
Grandeur reminds me of a shop that you see in Phoenix.
Yeah?
You know, it's just real like, down and dirty skate shop. Yeah, Jason's, you know, I've known him since he was a kid too. Like, that's real shit.
He's legendary in 2 scenes.
Yeah.
Fucking, I won't get into that. But fucking, Danny, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I really appreciate you coming on the
Yeah,
show.
Yeah.
for real.
I mean, the last thing we should cover though is the reason why we.
I know, I was-
Fuck! I thought I was gonna get out of this. Fuck!
Motherfucker.
Let's close this off with
Yeah.
originally when I hit you guys up and was yelling at you guys in the DM. You guys were all telling a story about. I guess you guys were out on a road trip.
Yep.
One of you guys were, or a few of you. I thought it was a few of you guys.
Yeah.
It sounded to me like it was a room full of guys with sleep apnea.
Yep.
And you guys were kind of laughing about like not doing anything about it. And I hit you guys up, and I mean, you guys were probably just like, "Oh shit, G,
Yeah, I know.
G just fucking.
Yeah.
Why is he yelling at us?
Yeah.
About
Oh,
medical
God.
shit, you
I
know."
said,
Hey,
Well-
dude, you need to go to fucking get a sleep study, bud.
Yeah, I was like, dude, that's nothing to fuck around with. And what really made me, I mean, I'll say it to anybody. I preach it. It's important because if you look at the stats, like sleep apnea is killing motherfuckers left and right. You know, the majority of people that have it are in denial. They think they're too skinny to have it. They think it has nothing to do with snoring. It's a hereditary thing. If your father had it, it comes down to you. It's in your family. You got it. If your girl's waking you up, going, you stop breathing in your sleep.
Yes.
It's not snoring. Snoring is just an obnoxious fucking thing, and that sucks too. You really shouldn't snore either. You should get that handled as well. But sleep apnea is you stop breathing, and it shocks your heart, and it fucks you up. and you're losing sleep. You're not getting actual real REM sleep, and it slowly kills you until it actually does kill you. You die in your sleep. Your heart will stop because you can only handle so much. So I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, man, these guys, I just listened to that podcast. That was the first one I listened to you guys. I just happened to tune into that one. And I was like, what the fuck are they doing? You guys put all that effort into sobering up because you wanted to live, right? You know, you wanted to live a good life. You wanted to have be healthy, be positive. You know, it is common for what's nice about getting sobered up is it's one step closer to, well, then now you find a gym. Now you find, now your buddies are more healthy. You get a new set of friends that are guiding you into more healthy things, you know. Sleep apnea is no joke. It's nothing to fucking laugh about. It's nothing that's going to go away. You're not going to lose 20 pounds and it's going to go away. If you have it, you have it, and you have it forever until it kills you, you know. And, dude, anybody out there, please, that has it, it's there's couples that like don't even sleep in the same bed because of that shit. They just deal with it. You don't have to be that way because once you got a, my ex was like the first night I got the machine, the CPAP machine. She was like, you used to look like somebody that was dying in their sleep, and it was depressing and it was sad to sleep, and I couldn't sleep myself, and it was just disturbing, and we argued about it all the time. And, because she would wake me up and be like, you literally just, you didn't breathe for a minute, you know.
Every night my chick does that. She's like, roll over, you're not breathing.
Yeah.
It's fucking bad.
And then you snap on her probably, because I would be like,
I've gotten better.
Why did you wake me up for? Now we're both up.
Yeah, right.
Because the girl wakes up, she's like, I can't sleep. And I'm like, well, now we're both not fucking sleeping. It causes a lot of problem in relationships, I would imagine. And girls like, that's my man. Let him sleep. Let him do it. He's not sleeping.
He's dying.
He's fucking dying next to you. It finally got to the point where I was like forced to get the machine. And the first night I slept, I think it tells you how much you sleep, about 5 hours. You know, you'll be surprised at how little you'll sleep when you get real sleep. You don't need 8 hours on a deep REM fucking sleep, man. 5 hours, and you're going all day. You wake up a new person. And she was like, now you look like one of those athletes, like that's on the treadmill where they're like fucking hooked up to all the shit, you know?
Yeah.
But she's like, it's rad though. She goes, it looks like you look healthy because you're sleeping, you're breathing. There's no more fucking noise. You don't snore anymore. You don't make any more noise. Also, what you're doing too is you're probably yelling in your sleep and all that shit too.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Because
you're not having
fights.
fights that I'm not winning for sure.
Yeah. That's from sleep apnea. You're not in a deep enough sleep. So that all goes away. There's no more of that shit. You sleep completely fucking silent. The machine is silent. It's just like rushing air is what it sounds like. Now, I'm a hypocrite as well because I probably only, and this is what's fucking crazy is you're going to notice something. I love quick fixes, you know. Yeah. I love a quick fix. Oh, that's bothering you? Fix it. Boom. It's done. I don't like the whole like, use this machine and in 4 or 5 months you might feel a little bit of a difference in your livelihood. Fuck that then.
Yeah,
I'm not going to put up with this shit. Be bothered with this. Fuck that, the long result thing. The next day, you feel like a different person when you sleep with the CPAP machine.
That's the third time I've heard that.
Yeah.
The third time. Tom told me that. Another homie said I woke up in fucking tears. Yeah. Because I had never experienced what real fucking sleep was like.
Dude,
Jesus
it's
Christ.
gnarly. Coffee is out. If you drink coffee, you're gonna fucking kill somebody. You know, like, you don't need a nap. No more naps. You go hard. The problem is, if I get 6-7 hours of sleep on it, I won't sleep the next night.
What?
Because I got so much fucking sleep, real sleep. My body doesn't know how to fall back asleep again. I'm going. So that's where weed comes in. If you're claustrophobic at all, it's going to be tough to fall asleep. I have friends that just, it's nothing to them. They put it on and then their life changes and they never go back. Me, I still struggle with the act of falling asleep. Is hard for me. So a lot of times what I do is I'll fall asleep, then you wake up to piss or whatever in a couple hours, and then you come back so tired that you just throw the machine on and you fall right back asleep, you know? That's not good either. Just learn how to fall asleep with the goddamn machine on.
Right.
Make it a routine. And then there's nights where I don't sleep with it. You know, I use it probably 60 to maybe 70% of the time. Sometimes I'm just lazy. And I don't, you know, the machine requires some maintenance. It's a lifestyle change, you know, like you have to stay up on it, but it's just like you're maintaining your motorcycle, you know, like you just have to take care of that machine. That machine will take care of you, and it's problem solved. You know, who knows down the road. There is things I hear that there's a surgery you can get now, but I also hear it's bullshit. The only foolproof way to get real sleep, to not die from it, is to have the machine. Like, go to an airport now, and you'll trip, because, you know, people, you bring them on a plane, you know, and if they have their own case, you know, before you have, if you don't have to, you don't know what that.
Right.
You think they're carrying this little
Right.
briefcase thing, you know,
Right.
maybe a computer holder, it looks like a little. Now you look around and every motherfucker there, every race, every build, you know, there's guys that are pro athletes carrying these sleep apnea machines
Oh,
around.
shit.
You know.
I'm going to make the phone call tomorrow about
Oh,
getting
okay,
a
you
fucking
heard it.
physical.
You heard it.
Hey,
Well-
right here and now. I'm saying it here and now. Tomorrow I'll send a text.
That's the thing that stops a lot of people too. As men, we don't want to be vulnerable and go to the doctor, and, you know, get a finger up your ass and all that kind of stuff. You know,
yeah.
you know,
I like it.
It's we avoid it at all costs.
Right.
You know, it's a little bit invasive. They don't put a finger in your ass. You know,
What a relief.
yeah. But what they do though is you're gonna have to get some sleep so they can see how many times you're waking up, so they know how to calibrate the machine. So that kind of stuff it's a little bit invasive. It's a little bit throws you off a little bit. But you go and you know, you're like, yo, I'm going to handle this problem.
Yeah.
Fix this fucking problem. And you know, like I said, if we do this podcast and somebody listens to this, and if one person DMs us or whatever and says like, yo man, I got the fucking machine, like that'll be worth it to me. Like, I hate to be the preachy guy, and you know, with the whole sober thing, you'll never hear me preach any of that, but I feel so strongly about the sleep apnea thing. I don't want to see any of my friends die from it, and they will. And I know the majority of my friends have the shit.
Wow.
And they're just ignorant, man, you know? So, fuck it. I'm going to preach it. I'll be the guy that, if I got to be that
This is
nerd.
the hill you die on.
Yeah.
If I got to be the nerd, I'll be the nerd. I don't care, you know? I never felt that way. Sobriety, I'm just like, well, that's their own mission. Not everything isn't for everybody, and I feel like I sounded like I'm a holier than thou type dude to be like, you drink? Ew.
Yeah,
Hey,
right.
if that works for you, it works
Yeah.
for you. But sleep apnea, there's no way around it. There's
It
no
doesn't work for
sneaky.
anyone.
There's no sneaky way around it. You either do it this way, and you fix it, and I'd be so happy to know that guys are taking care of that problem. It'll help you in your relationship. It'll help you in your business. It'll help just the way you feel every day.
God damn, I'm gonna get
Dude,
it.
I literally wake up and I feel like absolute dog shit. It's impossible for me to
Yeah.
get out of the bed.
Four energy drinks.
Yeah.
The majority of the time, you at least drink 3.
And
two.
the energy drinks, it's so bad
He
for
says
you.
3.
You know,
That's what I'm worried about. Like, I haven't had a physical since I got out of the Marine Corps in 2012. So I haven't had a physical since then. So I need to get that done, and then I'm immediately just gonna be like, shoot me the sleep study, because the guy that told you that he told me he woke up in tears from his first night with the machine. He said he did the sleep study. They woke him up in the middle of it and were like, put this on.
Yeah.
It's so fucking bad. Put this on now.
You do a sleep study in front of the doctors?
You can.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no shit.
Or they can like hook you up to a.
Well, they don't like
machine.
surround your bed and hear just like,
with a clipboard. There he goes. There he
They're
goes.
like,
Wait a
what
minute,
the
but-
fuck is wrong with this guy?
Fucking wanking me off or something,
They're
dude.
out of the room and stuff. Like,
Got it.
but it's still hard to sleep because you know.
Hell yeah.
There's a million. You know, it's almost like sleeping on this podcast right now. There's cameras all over
Yeah,
and
right.
microphones and everything, and they're measuring what it is. But you know, it's nothing they haven't seen a million times already, man.
Like pop wood, you know?
Oh.
Blood gets a flowing.
Yeah. That's a guaranteed.
Fucking A, Danny. Thank you so much for coming out and spending this fucking Monday with us, man.
Thank you guys for having me, man. I really appreciate what you guys do, man. Much respect with the LFG and grow this thing and fucking, you know, spread that PMA for sure.
That's
man. I
right.
dig it, dude.
That's all we can do.
Appreciate it, man.
Fucking A.
Hit it, Johnny.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, that was good.